own worldview. This may, in retrospect, prove to be a major chance to split up bureaucrats' policy views from the homogeny of recent history to view war-making as something to weigh seriously and not just rubber stamp. Zencash is now Horizon. Horizon is a privacy platform built on zero-knowledge technology with a decentralized secure node architecture. The Horizon platform enables real-life uses beyond currency, including the ability to privately chat with other people. Soon, Horizon will enable you to publish information and go anywhere on the web, all with complete privacy. Horizon, bringing privacy to life. Learn more at horizon.global. HORIZEN.global. UPI reports the family of a South Florida woman slain in Costa Rica has filed a lawsuit against Airbnb and the owners of the resort where she rented a room in November. Carla Stefaniak's family said the owners of Villa Le Mas, a secluded resort in the San Jose suburb of San Antonio de Escazo, failed to conduct a background check of a Nicaraguan security guard who was in Costa Rica illegally, according to a suit filed in Hillsborough County, Florida. Bismarck Espinoza Martinez killed Stefaniak on November 28th, her 36th birthday, when she returned to the apartment villa she rented through Airbnb after dropping off her sister-in-law at the airport, according to authorities. Martinez was arrested on December 3rd, several hours after search dogs found Stefaniak's body in plastic bags on the property about 1,000 feet from her room. His job came with the free use of a hotel apartment, which was next to the one rented by Stefaniak. The security guard had a pass key to every room in the complex, according to the lawsuit. In the suit, the resort's owners and Airbnb were accused of being negligent of protecting customers. The suit alleges that all parties profiting from Stefaniak's booking, including Airbnb, should have known the potential danger posed by giving Martinez unsupervised access to vulnerable women guests in a private setting. You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. Fans are friends, allies, and numerous supporters. Fans help FPP afford to produce more original content. You can join the Fans program for as little as $1 per month through Patreon and get perks like ad-free versions of FPP Radio News and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com. Reuters reports a New Jersey high school referee was suspended after a video showed a black wrestler being forced to have his hair cut before a bout after being told he would have to forfeit the match if he refused, according to a state athletic official on Saturday. The video, which was uploaded on Twitter on Thursday by a reporter of SNJ Today newspaper, showed Andrew Johnson of Buena Regional High School in Buena, New Jersey, getting his dreadlock hairstyle cut off by a school official. Moments later, Johnson, who is black, won his match against his opponent. A referee named Al Maloney, who is white, apparently had ordered Johnson to cut off his hair, according to a local media report. The clip went viral on Friday, with many social media users condemning the school for allowing Maloney to make the order, calling it racist and discriminatory. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
This is the Onion Week in Review. In local news, a succession of terrible events failed to befall a 33-year-old riding a longboard to his digital media job Monday. Shocked bystanders helplessly watched as media developer Jake Reston skated safely through Manhattan traffic without flipping over on his obnoxiously oversized skateboard and smashing his stupid face into the pavement, with many saying they were horrified at the sight of the floppy-haired little shit walking into his office unscathed.
It was one of the most horrible things I've ever seen. He wasn't even hit by a car. I was just praying that someone would step in and throw him off the stupid little skateboard and punch him right in the mouth.
In other news, a study finds owning a cool leather jacket is more rewarding than raising a child. A community garden sprouts the first condom wrapper of spring, and a little turtle gorges on an entire raspberry.
Tonight in the cabin, school marm's telling about how they talk about corpulation down the school. Only a fool needs telling how to screw. Just let the pecker guide you. But come on, listen anyhow.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, the Festivus episode. We are going to be live on all of these upcoming holidays. Festivus, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, Boxing Day, whatever the day after Boxing Day is, the day after that, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day.
Every day is happy.
Yes. Although on Festivus, it is traditional to air grievances We're not going to start the show with that, but if you would like to join us and air your grievances, as long as it's radio friendly, you're free to do that. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. There's also the Discord call-in lines available over at discord.lrn.fm. In studio tonight, it's Darryl.
I'm Laurel.
And we're actually going to head to the phones early.
Oh, wow. Grievances already.
Yeah, it's unusual to have somebody waiting on the phones when the show starts, but we've got Parker in Washington. Parker, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts. Parker,
yes.
Are you there?
No thoughts.
Parker, let me try unmuting the ISDN in addition to the Comrex and see if that works. Otherwise, I will put him back on hold. We will try that again. I don't know if he stepped away from the phone or what happened, but we'll try it again.
He was probably not expecting to get on right away.
Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. So, headline that I saw earlier today from a website called Futurism, and then I just clicked over to the article from the CBC. Headline, they kill jobs. Meet the Canadians refusing to use self-checkout. Now, I don't know how popular or whatnot these self-checkout things are. I do know that several of the stores around here, especially grocery stores, have started adding in more self-checkouts.
I love self-checkouts. I love them so much. I love them for a number of reasons. One of them is when I am at a fast food place, I don't have to repeat my order 3 times until they get it right. I just put it in the machine and it comes out right every single time. I love it at the grocery store because I can pack my own groceries and I don't have to, I have a little bit of OCD, and when I see them doing the groceries, I have to look away. So I just do it myself. It's so much better. And I just like not having to deal with any people. I don't like people that much, so I love the machines.
For me, it's about what allows me to get out of the store fastest.
Yeah.
If the shortest line is at the self-check and I've only got a handful of things, I'm going there. If the shortest line is with, a human checker outer person, I'm going there. Or if I have a large amount of items, I'm not going to run all of that through the self-checkout.
Right.
But let's jump into the story here. It says, Tom Eburn and his wife Peggy are self-checkout virgins. They refuse to use the machines, determined to keep cashiers employed. Tom, who lives in Chilliwack, British Columbia, says, we will resist as long as we can. I think any job loss is a step backwards.
This happens so often with new types of technology as people say, well, it's going to destroy all the jobs.
I'm not using that horseless carriage.
Exactly. But they'll find other jobs elsewhere in the economy, especially right now. The economy is very robust. This is actually the best time for this to be happening because there are so many other jobs available that it can happen rather seamlessly.
Right. And unemployment is fairly low, although
exactly.
To be fair, the unemployment numbers aren't exactly a 100% accurate testament of how many people are working versus how many people aren't working, because you have people that for a myriad of reasons might be looking for work but not collecting unemployment, so they don't show up in the unemployment numbers as unemployed. Mm-hmm. You have people that might be retired or working part-time that, based on whatever arbitrary definition of who's in, quote unquote, the workforce, might either be counted as working or just not counted at all.
Right.
So, it's...
Regardless, not using the automated cashiers it's not going to work. It's not going to keep the technology from moving forward. People will demand the automated cashiers.
Right.
So...
Right,
just
and
use
then,
them.
We've already covered stories where Amazon apparently is working on stores that don't even have registers.
One of the things that's going on right now with automation is that some jobs are coming back to the United States because if the manufacturer can automate the items more cheaply in the U.S. than hiring cheap labor abroad, they'll actually do it in the U.S. So there has been an increase in manufacturing jobs recently in the United States as the jobs come back.
Somebody's got to make these self-checkout machines.
Exactly.
Somebody has to learn how to program and update these self-checkout machines.
And repair them.
They don't repair themselves. They're not autonomous beings. They are not artificial intelligence.
So it is quite likely that when you look at the automation as a whole, at least for the time being, it's a net increase in the jobs as the manufacturing jobs return to the United States.
Let's go to David calling in from California. David, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Yeah, how are you? You know, it's funny. I'm at San Francisco, and they've been testing these driverless cars out here, and they've got dozens of these robot cars driving around with these cameras that whir around. They probably take 10,000 photographs a minute. And apparently they're trying to capture every nuance of every road. And just like when you look at Google Maps.
It's a little creepy what they have online. Yeah.
So what I do, I ride a bicycle and I flip the bird at them. And so I know that they're getting maybe 200,000 shots of the bird being flipped at them.
Just from you.
And every once in a while, I'll talk to them through their window at the intersections and ask if they'll get a real job. Because the point is, they've got humans in the cars, and sometimes they've got 3 or 4 of them in there. But just the very idea that somebody's taken 20 pieces of silver to sell out. You know, right now it's a requirement that somebody have insurance as they drive around. Now, if there's one of these driverless cars, who's paying the insurance? Who's putting together the insurance policy on a driverless car? And what happens when anybody has a wreck tied to it? There's not in fact, there's a stipulation in the, we've got our Bill of Rights in America tied to our Constitution, but the United Nations has a Bill of Rights that basically uses ours and then adds to it by adding you cannot be tried by automated means. And so these, the stoplight cameras, the red light cameras, the idea of having, being tried by a robot.
You supposedly have a right to face your accuser.
Mm-hmm.
How do you call
Bring in the robot?
How do you call the robot camera thing onto the stand? You can't.
Oh, I know.
You can't. And then, David, you asked the question about, what happens with, the insurance regulations and some of the other things.
That's what lawyers are for.
Well,
Yay.
that is what lawyers are for, but a lot of the laws and statutes are written such that whoever is in control of the vehicle, well, if it's autonomous and driving itself, they would say that whoever pressed the start button, I guess, would be in control. Well, what happens if you're using the autonomous vehicle to get yourself home instead of trying to drive a car because you're too drunk? Are you in control? Can you be drunk in a driverless car?
I think it's going to be whoever owns the car, because somebody's going to own the car. So I imagine that the person responsible would be that person, unless the drunk person did something to sabotage it.
If you let me borrow your car, then I'm responsible for speeding tickets, not you.
That's true, but I would be liable if
drunk.
you got it in. We would both be liable if you got in an accident.
David, thank you.
Well, the maintenance of the fleet.
Hold on, David. Sounds like you've got more. Hold the line. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. This is Free Talk Live.
Ike was such a sweet, lovable animal, and people would want to pet him, and they'd come up, and they'd get close to him, and it would be this instant, oh! My dad didn't want to touch him. It's like, ooh, get the stinky dog away from me.
Even after we'd give her a bath, she would still stink.
Very stinky, both bad breath and bad gas. I asked the vet, and he said some dogs are just stinky.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dinovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
The omega-3 fatty acids.
Flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa.
The digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food.
The ingredients convinced me that it was definitely worth trying. After about a week, he started smelling normal. My husband and I were really kind of astonished.
Dinovite is nutrition.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it is now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com, pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on your screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com.
Do you operate a retail business and are looking for a solution for point-of-sale cryptocurrency acceptance? It's never been easier thanks to AnyPay.global. There's no paperwork or approval process to open an account. If you already have a tablet at your cash register, you're almost done. Just sign up at AnyPay.global, drop your personal crypto wallet addresses in our setup page, and then load our app. That's it. You're accepting cryptocurrency like Bitcoin and Dash at your store. Get started now at AnyPay.global. That's AnyPay.global.
Free Talk Live.
We need to legalize the animal trade. The illegal bird trade causes the death of hundreds of thousands of birds. Do you know why that hundreds of thousands of birds are dying?
Why don't you tell me?
The reason these birds are dying is because it's illegal. They have to pack in multiple birds into whatever it is that they're transporting them in. And
one would think.
When they get across the border and they open up the package, you can damn well bet some of those birds have expired.
Yes.
So there's a certain percentage rate that just don't make it through. And that's where this number comes from, this hundreds of thousands of birds dying every year because of the illegal bird trade. Now, if it wasn't for the people demanding them, obviously nobody would be bringing them in. So there's people in this country that are demanding birds just like people are demanding cocaine in this country. So the idea that we can stop the bird trade is just as asinine that we can stop the war on drugs. We have a war on birds in this country. They just don't talk about it.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. That is, again, the toll-free call-in line. It's how you can call in and join us. There's also the Discord call-in lines over at discord.lrn.fm. And there's actually a lot more over at the Discord. There's all kinds of chat rooms, both text chat, and you can actually do audio chat with other Discord users over there at discord.lrn.fm. So we started off and we barely even got into the topic about the self-checkouts, and apparently there are some Canadians that really don't like them. I don't know if it's the Canadians just being polite or if they really don't like automation or whatnot. We can delve back into this topic a little bit more, but it led to a call about driverless cars. And we've got David on the line again from California. David, you were saying that there's these driverless cars that drive around in San Francisco, and you said they've got a lot of cameras on them, but there's currently some problems because they're still in the quote testing phase. So state law requires that a human driver be in the automated car, even while it's in automated mode. But it sounded like you had more to say about the topic, so go ahead.
Well, yeah, it has to do with the fleet maintenance. So if you start thinking about like pizza deliveries, Amazon delivery, any number of different, whether it's UPS or drones or any of these other automated systems.
Yeah, and we actually had somebody call in earlier in the week, or would have been last week, talking about some tests that are being done, I think, in the Phoenix area, where a grocery store is testing delivery of groceries using driverless cars.
Right, yeah, and I saw some of the numbers on it. They're talking about, what is it, like 30 cents an hour to run an automated car like that? 30 cents an hour. I mean, it's insane to imagine how cheap that is,
right,
and how many jobs you could destroy by undercutting in that way. Well, if you look up the old expression efficiency experts, back around 100 years ago, really, World War I, shortly after World War I, efficiency experts were laughed out of the world of economics because they had caused so much trouble, and the fleet management of these automated cars. Imagine you've got these budget cutters that say, oh, look here, we can fire all of the humans, we can stick in these robot cars, but then, say like 3 or 4 years later, the guy that buys all of the parts for these automated cars decides to do it on the cheap. Or he ends up with some counterfeit parts from China, or, there was an airplane that just crashed, I'm trying to think if it was in the Philippines, and it was found that the plane had some defective parts on it.
So there was a lack of quality control.
Exactly. Well, they knew that it was supposed to be taken out of service, and the pilot and the crew knew that this thing was defective. They were having problems on the earlier flight. They didn't want it to fly, but they didn't have the courage enough to take a chance with their jobs to protect their own lives. And they took off, and within minutes it crashed and everybody died.
What does this have to do with automation?
Well, in the case of efficiency experts, the fleet management gets into the idea of buying 10,000 parts for all of these things. They buy defective parts, and then, bam, who's the insurance policy on defective parts that are running around?
That doesn't sound like a problem with efficiency. That sounds like a problem with... shady businessman.
Okay, but I think this is what you're saying, that when you have this automation and you have one person handling all of the machines, that person can screw up all of the machines at the same time, which is something that wouldn't happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so it's putting all your eggs in one basket with a major corporation. It's one thing if it's just some dumb, grocery chain that has, some experimental nephew that decides to test that works. But when you end up with UPS doing it, or up here in Northern California, there was a truck that was using, it was a diesel that had some defective parts on it that made the fuel overheat, and it caught fire, and the truck ran out of control. It basically created a fire underneath the driver. He jumped. He didn't know what to do and ran across the median and crashed into. I think he killed like a whole football team in a school bus.
Ooh.
And so it turned out that was an example of this. That the fleet management of I think that was FedEx. That it was a FedEx truck, and they had a whole bunch of these defective fuel. I'm trying to think of it. It had to do with, diesels don't have a carburetor, but fuel injectors. They had these faulty fuel injectors, and somebody had bought them for every FedEx truck on the road, and they were having troubles all across the country with these things exploding. And in this
So
case,
should they go back to horse and buggy for stuff? Because, that's the only way that you're not going to have mechanical errors.
Well, no, it's the idea that monopoly, putting all your eggs in one basket.
FedEx is not a
and not
monopoly,
having,
David.
Well,
FedEx is not a monopoly.
But you do bring up an interesting point with automation, that the more vehicles you have being repaired by the same person, the greater the chance that you're going to have that person making the same mistake in every vehicle, and you'll have an entire fleet with the same problem. That is a possibility.
Right,
and
but at the same time, if you have, and David, thank you for the call, if you have, say, 1,000 mechanics, and then you have to have every mechanic look at every vehicle before it goes on the road, then nothing ever winds up getting done.
Well,
so there's got to be a line somewhere.
I mean,
between
he brings
that.
up an interesting problem that I think that should be paid attention to, but I don't think that's a reason not to move forward with automation. I really don't think you can stop automation at this point. So it shouldn't be a question
Let's go back to using horses and buggies.
Right, exactly. We can't.
Maybe chariots if you're in a hurry and you're just traveling with yourself. We've got to get rid of chainsaws and everybody go back to using pickaxes to chop down trees.
We really have no choice but to move forward with automation, because if we don't, other countries will. This is exactly what happened to the Ottoman Empire. When other countries were industrializing, the Ottoman Empire refused to do so for a lot of these reasons, for religious reasons, because they didn't want people to lose jobs. And now most people don't know what the Ottoman Empire was.
Right.
So we have to move forward with automation. There's no choice. The question is, how do we best do it for our society, not how do we stop it?
Right. Let's try Parker in Washington one more time. Parker, are you there?
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Go ahead.
All right, that's good. So I wanted to call in tonight because so my family and I were going down to San Antonio to watch the Alamo Bowl. We're big Cougar fans. And everyone else in my family, with the exception of me, is going through the Clear system to go through the security at SeaTac. I have chosen to abstain from doing that because I feel as though even if
all right, Parker, hold the thought. We'll come back with you in just a moment. This is Free Talk Live.
of Empire is a book that claims the United States is the empire of the world. George Washington had warned us against foreign wars. The United States of Empire shows that World Wars I and II left England broken. Its former colony, the U.S., had to save the empire. Was there ever a vote? Who do we fight for? The deep state began with World War I. The United States of Empire by James Dunn. Available at Amazon Books.
At WolfHillAmmo.com, we love shotguns. We offer the best specialty shotgun ammo on the market, including our defensive combo packs for home and retreat. Our less lethal combo is good for animal control, the four-legged kind and two-legged. When lethal force is necessary, reach for our Stop 'em, Drop 'em, or our home defense combos. These 5-round packs include different heavy hitters to protect your loved ones. Visit WolfHillAmmo.com to see our great prices on these combo packs and other specialty shotgun ammo rounds. WolfHillAmmo.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Hi, I'm Derek J. To me, an activist's calling is to actively work to advance a cause. The cause for which I work is personal freedom. I believe my life is best when I engage in voluntary interactions and self-government. I reject the idea that anyone else has a higher claim to my life or my body than I do. I see people who call themselves the government as a threat to my personal freedom. I realize you may feel differently, but my relationship with the people who call themselves the government is completely involuntary. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. In studio tonight, it's Darryl.
I'm Laurel.
And we had a caller a few minutes ago who was sounding very much like he's opposed to any form of automation because bad things can happen. But automation also allows you to do things like, keep an eye on your house when you're away. You could use, say, the Blink motion-activated security system. And there's probably a lot of people that are going to be traveling in the upcoming weeks. And, a lot of them want to keep an eye on their house. Make sure there's no burglars. Make sure there's not package thieves, things of that sort. Well, with the Blink home security system, you can actually monitor your home from your smartphone or other portable device, like a tablet. And it works with Alexa. So you can just say something along the lines of, Alexa, check my Blink cameras. And the best part, there's no contracts, there's no subscriptions. They're wire-free. Did I mention they're wire-free? The AA batteries last up to 2 years, and the systems are totally affordable. And I realize it's probably a little late to be ordering holiday gifts right now, but the Blink camera system does make a perfect holiday gift. Unfortunately, you missed the savings of up to 40% on the Outdoor XT and add-on cameras, but you can still get some good prices because the Blink system is very affordable. BlinkProtect.com/holiday. That's BlinkProtect.com/holiday. Blink is an Amazon company. So let's go back to Parker, who called in from Washington, said he's going to be doing some traveling coming up. And Parker, you said that most of your family signed up for some kind of thing called Clear, which I actually did a search for, and apparently it's something kind of like TSA pre-check, but it's a different thing, and it apparently uses biometrics, such as your fingerprints and scans of your eyes.
Right, Matt. Yeah. I have decided not to do that because even though they don't share or sell that biometric data to anyone, which is a good thing, I don't know how secure their their servers are, or whatever they're storing that data on. And if someone could hack into that and get biometric data, well, who knows what sort of damage they could do with it. So what I wonder is, are my concerns unfounded and ridiculous, or is there some or is there some logic behind my concerns, and would you agree with where I'm coming from?
What agency runs Clear? Like, who's it with?
It's not affiliated with the DHS or TSA, so I think it's a private company.
Okay, but what's it for? It's for getting on airplanes?
It's for airport security.
It's like an alternative to TSA PreCheck.
Okay.
Exactly.
So you pay some kind of fee, and then they wind up scanning and doing some background checks, make sure that you're not a terrorist. And then when you get to the airport, as long as it's an airport with the clear security line, then you would just go through there, and they'd scan to make sure that you are who you say you are and that you're in their system. And I'm not sure. I'm on the website, and it doesn't say who runs this, but it does say that it is certified by the Department of Homeland Security. But I would say that if your concern about using this is, well, I don't know how secure their servers are, have you ever used a credit card and posted that number online to make a purchase?
No, I have used debit cards.
All right. Basically the same thing. I realize that there are some differences between a credit card and debit card.
I'm giving them a look. It's you can get your credit card replaced. If somebody steals the number, you can get a new one. You can't get a new set of fingerprints.
You can't replace your face or your retina.
Right. But the point is, you're providing certain information that somebody could wind up spending money that you didn't authorize. Do you know about how secure any of the websites are that you have ever used your bank card on?
Right, but my bank and my credit card company will replace the money. They're actually pretty good about that.
But he said his concern is about the security of the server that's holding the data.
Right, and people have gotten a hold of my credit card information, and I had to get my credit card replaced.
I'm just pointing out
I can't replace
that
my fingerprints.
Unless you're concerned about the security of every website that you visit on the internet, then I wouldn't use that as the primary reason for why to oppose using this Clear thing. There are other reasons to oppose using the Clear thing, such as not wanting possibly the Department of Homeland Security to have your retina scans. And biometrics aren't necessarily the most secure method of identification because let's say something happens and you burn a fingerprint.
Right. I've already had... Yeah, CIS requires I'm an immigration lawyer. CIS requires my clients to get new fingerprints done every year. So if their adjustment of status case is going on for a long time, they have to redo their fingerprints if it takes more than a year. It's kind of crazy. But no, I totally understand your concerns, and I agree with you. I would be worried about them getting out there. The thing is, I've had to give my fingerprints to a number of different agencies. In order to be licensed, I had to give my fingerprints to the state bar. I worked for Janney Montgomery Scott for a little while, a number of years ago, which is a financial institution. I had to give my fingerprints then. I did do TSA PreCheck. I had to give my fingerprints then.
Yeah.
So I've already given my fingerprints to a number of different agencies. Can somebody steal it? You know what? It's possible, but
somebody could take they if they really want your fingerprints, and Parker, thank you for the call. If they really, really, really want your fingerprints, they could just follow you around and look at everything you've touched all day and do some high-tech stuff.
Right, but then it's a matter of you don't want to make it easy for them. So you don't want somebody sitting in, a room half a world away to be able to go on and steal hundreds of people's fingerprints. But then what use are your fingerprints? It's an identification measure. So there's a lot of agencies that are going to want to use that.
Right.
So living in the modern world, if you want to advance in some way, at some point it's likely, unfortunately, that you're going to be fingerprinted. It kind of sucks, but it's happened to me several times.
Yeah.
And I've never been arrested.
Yeah. My big concern here is I can't figure out who's actually running this thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas at least with the TSA pre-check, I know that that's the federal government that's running the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I wound up getting it. It was cheaper for me to get the Nexus card that includes TSA pre-check than to just get TSA pre-check.
Okay. What's Nexus? They've got all these systems out there now. So I don't know what they are.
Nexus is if I want to go to Canada, which I will be next summer, running the Bay of Fundy Marathon. So when I go to Canada, I get fast-tracked across the border because they've already verified that I'm not a criminal and I am who I say I am. So I just show them the Nexus card and they scan it and they're like, yep, it's you.
Okay.
Come on through. Welcome to Canada, eh?
Is it a Canadian system?
No. It's
a U.S. government?
But it's a joint thing where I had to have a meeting with U.S. Border Patrol and Canadian Border Patrol.
Okay.
And then they both did some background checks, and they're like, yep, you're good.
So is it just between the U.S. and Canada, or are other countries a party to it?
I'm not sure. But I know that, the easy part is going to Canada.
Right. Well, here in New Hampshire, there would be certain advantages to that. So
right.
I've just moved here a few months ago, so I could see why living here you would want that.
And I know that they had mentioned about certain international airports. So like if I fly to, say, Europe out of Montreal, then there's some kind of expedited something there.
Right.
But I don't remember exactly what it is.
So it's all about what do we want to give the government in exchange for convenience.
Right. And they already have my fingerprints.
Yeah.
I used to work for an airline, had to get the FBI background checks all the time.
Yep.
DOT clearances. This is Free Talk Live. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help. Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite. Pick up 2 bottles of Lico Chops, get the 3rd bottle free. New improved Lico Chops with omega-6, omega-3, vitamin E, and now 6 extra direct-fed microbials. Even better for the digestive tract and immune system. And dogs love it. Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free. This is Henry Lukasevic for Dynavite.
DINOVITE.com.
Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it is now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com, pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on your screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com.
My doctor makes more informed decisions prescribing my blood pressure medications based on the data I presented to him on the Smart BP app.
That's one. Smart BP can export a colorful, detailed blood pressure report that I can bring to my doctor. That's two.
Smart BP is easy to use and intuitive, and the features on the free version are very generous.
And that's just 3 of the thousands of 5-star reviews of Smart BP, a new blood pressure tracking smartphone app from Evolve Medical Systems. Smart BP is the only app designed for ease of use and seamless connectivity to help manage your blood pressure and keep track of your health at your fingertips. With Smart BP, you can automatically sync your blood pressure measurements through Apple Health and Microsoft Health Vault. Connect with Apple Watch. Easily print and share detailed reports with your doctor, plus many more features. Smart BP is free and available both on Apple and Android devices. And be sure to search the App Store for Smart Blood Pressure from Evolve Medical Systems. That's Smart BP from Evolve Medical Systems, the Smart Blood Pressure Tracker.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you AMP Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. You are free to call in and talk live to us. And yes, we are going to be live on all of these upcoming holidays. Tonight is Festivus, so if you have some airing of the grievances, you can do that. Tomorrow, Christmas Eve. The day after that is Christmas. Boxing Day. Next Monday is New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. Yeah, all of those. We're live every night of the week, 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern, and you can call in. Again, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Let's head back to the phones where we've got Gabrielle calling in from Pennsylvania. You're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Oh my gosh, I'm so happy that I got on. I love you guys more than anything in the world.
Aw.
You guys rock.
Thank you. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Okay, so I think President Trump is doing a wonderful job.
Okay.
And he's like the sexiest man I've ever seen.
You think so?
Okay, so I want to start with, you think he's doing a good job. Is there anything specific that you think he's done a good job on?
Well, he's done so many things that I can't even count. Like, I gotta think of one.
Tariffs? Adding tariffs, cutting taxes, banning bump stocks, doing a temporary shutdown of the government now for the third time in his presidency.
He hasn't shut down the government 3 times in his presidency, has he?
This is the third supposed government shutdown, where it's really only like 5 to 8% that winds up being shut down. But this is the third.
I didn't realize it was the third
during
one.
his presidency, and Republicans control Congress.
Yeah.
So his party is controlling Congress, and they still can't pass.
I think there's a fight
bills
within the Republican Party.
Oh, there certainly is.
Yeah.
But, generally, if there's this thing they call a shutdown, that again, it's really only like 5 to 8% that actually gets shut down. It's generally when one party controls the White House and a different party controls Congress, or control of Congress is split where one house is controlled by one party, the other house controlled by the other.
Now, with the tariffs, though, it seems like he's entering into or participating in a trade war with China, but it seems to be having an effect. There's been some commentators saying, you know what? He took a risk and it seems to be working, that China is backing down.
There's also been, what was it, like $12 billion earmarked to give to farmers who were harmed by his tariffs. So, Gabrielle, you like the harm done to farmers by tariffs plus the bailout to the farmers?
Well, there's a few things that I don't like about him. Like, he makes fun of the disabled and everything else. Like, I don't like that because I'm a disabled person.
Okay.
Like, because I have brain injuries.
I'm sorry.
So he makes fun of us, and
But do you like him because you feel he represents the people?
Yes.
Do you like him because he seems to be fighting against the establishment?
Yes.
Do you like him because he's more honest than a lot of other politicians? Now, he gets things wrong. He makes like factual errors. But
right,
I've heard
so I don't
some
think
reporters
you can call that honesty when he makes things up.
Well, I'm not sure he's making things
up.
I think he just doesn't get things right. But this was a reporter said this recently, that Trump, it was one of the most honest presidents, and it was actually a left-wing reporter, because it was in regard to the Khashoggi incident that Trump was saying, yeah, I don't really like it, but we've got this big arms deal with Saudi Arabia, and it's all this hundreds of billions of dollars, so we're just going to stick with it. And the reporter was like, that was really honest.
He also claimed that Saudi Arabia winds up just getting those arms for free and that they don't pay for them. Gabrielle, thank you for the call. Yeah, he said something, and I forget the exact quote, but it was, if we stopped giving arms to the Saudis, then they would wind up being overthrown in 2 weeks.
Did he say that?
Yeah, I'm going to have to find the actual quote. Let's go to Matthew calling in from Louisiana. Matthew, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
It'd be at least 4 weeks before they're overthrown, Darryl. Now, you were trolling, you and Ian were trolling yesterday for callers to call in and say that they were not particularly pleased with the bump stock ban. And I am one of those persons, and I don't even own one. But I understand the principle of the thing, and it's moving further away from my version of the Second Amendment, which is anything that the military has, I should be able to own, even if it's ridiculous, like, a Ford-class aircraft carrier. And so he does this thing, and the reasoning behind it is shaky at best. And the procedures that he used, well, a lot of Second Amendment supporters are giving him some slack and saying that this is the government doing this, but no, he could tell Matthew Whitaker, isn't that the AG right now, the acting AG?
Oh man, and they have such musical chairs over there. Who is it now?
I think it's Matthew Whitaker, but
Whitaker.
Yeah, he has a nominee, but the nominee hasn't taken office yet. Yeah,
right. He could tell him, no, we're not going to do this. It just doesn't make any sense. And how are you ever going to get all of those things back?
This is one of my problems with the new rule, is that it becomes illegal to own something that you already have. And
that the government said was legal to own.
Exactly, that you purchased legally and you had legally, and now it's in your house, and this thing that you acquired legally is now illegal for you to have. So that's kind of a problem.
Right, and there's two things about this. One is that this could lead to, Bundy Ranch times 10 incident, which, really bad, really ugly, potential to trigger a civil war, which is really not a good thing. I know people say that, bring on the Civil War, they'll take it from my cold dead hands, but I like flush toilets.
Yeah.
That goes away when you have a civil war.
And electricity. Yeah.
All of those wonderful things. So it becomes very uncomfortable, and old farts like me probably die. Okay, no big deal. I'm fully prepared to realize that I'm going to die at some point. And the other problem is that it's a political problem, is that, November is hunting season. So a lot of people who put off their hunting expeditions to vote for Trump in 2016 will probably be like, yeah, you know what? He's banning dump stocks. I think I'll just go out and bag myself a deer.
Matt Christensen did a really great video. Matt Christensen did a great video on YouTube regarding the whole bump stock ban. And so I would recommend going and watching that.
I will probably endeavor to do so. I've just discovered Matt Christensen because he came to the defense of Sargon. But the whole thing is that it's just dumb. And this guy is supposed to be some kind of genius. Well, gee whiz, you just cheesed off 1/4 of your base. Mm-hmm. Who are you hoping to replace them with? Nobody will support you because supporting Donald Trump, you'd be called a Nazi, a deplorable, a despicable, and every other name on earth.
But you have to admit, Matthew, that there are a segment of people that they'll vote for whoever has an R next to their name just because they fear the Democrats, and there's a segment of the population that will vote for whoever has a D next to their name because they fear the Republicans.
Well, to be honest with you, I will vote for Donald Trump versus President Kamala Harris.
No,
okay?
yeah. I'm with you there 100%.
No, there's no question about it. But if there's a really strong libertarian, now I've got problems with the Libertarian Party. I'm a guy who believes in borders. The Libertarian currently has gone globalist. I guess you're trying to get Koch brother money.
Okay, so look up paleo-libertarian, which is what I am. Paleo-libertarian. So that is paleo-libertarian.
So you don't eat carbs?
Yeah. It's a libertarian who essentially believes in borders. That's pretty much it. Is not a globalist.
So you're a libertarian nationalist. I didn't know such a thing could exist.
Yep.
There are all flavors, Matthew. Thank you for the call. And I found the quote from Donald Trump that I'll read in moments. Plus your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Plus a new study about parachutes maybe not actually saving people's lives. We'll get into it. This is Free Talk Live.
The Genesis Communications Network is one of America's premier broadcasters of captivating talk radio. We thank you for listening. Now, just imagine, there are thousands of people who are just as passionate about radio as you are. But what you may not realize is how easy and affordable it is to advertise with us. Radio commercials for your business could be heard on hundreds of radio stations across the U.S. every day. We can help you by creating an effective radio advertising campaign for your company. From script writing to producing your commercial, just like the one you're listening to right now. No other network provides the level of customer service we do. When it comes to radio advertising, we are your one-stop shop. And no matter how big or small your business is, we can help. Email us at advertise@gcnlive.com, and an experienced advertising executive will help you take the first step towards driving more customers to your business or website. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Sunday, December 23rd, 2018. Silver is trading at $14.63 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,256 per ounce. Zen is trading at $5, and the average price of Bitcoin is $3,992. Antiwar.com reports, citing his anger at the decision to withdraw U.S. forces from Syria this week, Brett McGurk, U.S. Special Envoy to the war against the Islamic State, has announced his resignation. He had reportedly told co-workers he'd intended to retire in February. This follows Defense Secretary James Mattis also resigning over the Syria pullout. Mattis offered very subtle criticism in his resignation letter, while McGurk was a lot more vehement, insisting there was no plan in place and the administration had no thought of what the consequences would be. McGurk was intended to coordinate with the 79 countries involved in the U.S. coalition against the Islamic State. It is not clear who his replacement will be, but with the administration arguing that the Islamic State is now defeated, there may be low priority for the position. After Mattis and now McGurk, there is speculation that others may be about to resign in the coming days, also for being at odds with Trump's orders to leave Syria. In the Pentagon, there is believed to be broad unity towards keeping the war going, as evidenced by the number of Pentagon officials who spent the last 2 years talking up long-term presence there. If there is a large exodus, this might also be an opportunity to purge the pro-war leadership that has been cultivated over the past generation, who saw their careers grow as U.S. wars took on more aggressive forms. Though Trump still would have to find alternative candidates and find them palatable to his own worldview, this may, in retrospect, prove to be a major chance to split up bureaucrats' policy views from the homogeny of recent history to view war-making as something to weigh seriously and not just rubber stamp. Zencash is now Horizon. Horizon is a privacy platform built on zero-knowledge technology with a decentralized secure node architecture. The Horizon platform enables real-life uses beyond currency, including the ability to privately chat with other people. Soon, Horizon will enable you to publish information and go anywhere on the web, all with complete privacy. Horizon, bringing privacy to life. Learn more at horizon.global. HORIZEN.global. UPI reports the family of a South Florida woman slain in Costa Rica has filed a lawsuit against Airbnb and the owners of the resort where she rented a room in November. Carla Stefaniak's family said the owners of Villa Le Mas, a secluded resort in the San Jose suburb of San Antonio de Escazo, failed to conduct a background check of a Nicaraguan security guard who was in Costa Rica illegally, according to a suit filed in Hillsborough County, Florida. Bismarck Espinoza Martinez killed Stefaniak on November 28th, her 36th birthday, when she returned to the apartment villa she rented through Airbnb after dropping off her sister-in-law at the airport, according to authorities. Martinez was arrested on December 3rd, several hours after search dogs found Stefaniak's body in plastic bags on the property about 1,000 feet from her room. His job came with the free use of a hotel apartment, which was next to the one rented by Stefaniak. The security guard had a pass key to every room in the complex, according to the lawsuit. In the suit, the resort's owners and Airbnb were accused of being negligent of protecting customers. The suit alleges that all parties profiting from Stefaniak's booking, including Airbnb, should have known the potential danger posed by giving Martinez unsupervised access to vulnerable women guests in a private setting. You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. Fans are friends, allies, and numerous supporters. Fans help FPP afford to produce more original content. You can join the Fans program for as little as $1 per month through Patreon and get perks like ad-free versions of FPP Radio News and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com. Reuters reports a New Jersey high school referee was suspended after a video showed a black wrestler being forced to have his hair cut before a bout after being told he would have to forfeit the match if he refused, according to a state athletic official on Saturday. The video, which was uploaded on Twitter on Thursday by a reporter of SNJ Today newspaper, showed Andrew Johnson of Buena Regional High School in Buena, New Jersey, getting his dreadlock hairstyle cut off by a school official. Moments later, Johnson, who is black, won his match against his opponent. A referee named Al Maloney, who is white, apparently had ordered Johnson to cut off his hair, according to a local media report. The clip went viral on Friday, with many social media users condemning the school for allowing Maloney to make the order, calling it racist and discriminatory. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
It's being called the must-have tech gadget of the year. The Samsung Apex, which hits shelves today, streams video into your left eye, internet into your right eye, and sucks your dick all at the same time. Samsung spokesman Neil Werner is projecting the biggest sales in his company's history.
Are you kidding me? This thing does everything, plus it sucks your dick, all right?
And I know what you're thinking. And yes, ladies, there is a version for you that eats you out. Hanging up Apple, we beat you the punch on this one. Samsung's got you by the balls.
In spite of the almost $1,000 price tag, customers are raving about the device.
For my career, I do need the internet and TV, and my dick sucked all the time.
I already have a TV and a girlfriend and a laptop, but to have all those in one device would be really nice.
Even a run of bad press about unsafe working conditions in the Apex factory in India have not dampened sales projections.
Yeah. Factory, switch up, blah, blah. How about you just plug your eyeball straight into the internet and get your dick sucked?
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. Kicking off hour number 2. You are free to call in and talk live with us and bring up whatever's on your mind. The us in studio tonight is Darryl.
I'm Laurel.
And that toll-free call-in line is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And I said that I found the quote from Donald Trump where he insinuates that the government of Saudi Arabia doesn't pay for things that they get from the United States government and United States military and military suppliers. Quote is, and he said this, by the way, to cheers at a rally in South Haven, Mississippi back in October. We protect Saudi Arabia. Would you say they're rich? And I love the king, King Salman, but I said, King, we're protecting you. You might not be here for 2 weeks without us. You have to pay for your military.
That sounds
insinuating
like Trump,
that the Saudi government is just given hundreds of millions of dollars of weapons from the United States for free, that they don't pay for anything, that it's the U.S. military that is protecting the king, and that if the United States military stopped being involved in all of the affairs of Saudi Arabia, that the Saudi king would not be in power for 2 more weeks. Now, would you say that that's making stuff up, or that's him being an honest man?
I think he really believes it. I think he believes it, which is different from lying.
Which is also different from being an honest man.
Well, it's if you say what you really think.
An honest man tells the truth. Just because he thinks
an honest man tells
he
what
says is the truth. Doesn't mean it's the truth. If he said that Mount Monadnock is the tallest mountain in the world, that is not a factual statement. Doesn't matter whether he's a dumbass enough to believe it. That's not a factual statement.
In order to lie, you have to know that what you're saying is untrue. Otherwise, you're just wrong.
No, I know that's how lie detectors work.
That's how lies work.
No.
You're not lying if you say something that's wrong.
But he's not telling the truth if he says things that aren't true.
True, but an honest person tells what they believe to be the truth. If you're mistaken, it doesn't make you dishonest.
But if you just make stuff up all the time, then you're not an honest man. It doesn't matter if you believe the stupid things that you say. If you make them up and they're not based in reality or fact, then you are not an honest man.
If you know you're making it up, then you're lying. Then you're aware that it's untrue.
Right, but we're talking in circles here about whether or not he's an honest man or whether he's making stuff up, and intent of whether he believes it or not has no bearing on the fact that he makes things up, and he is not an honest man.
I want to go back to something that we were talking about before, the Nexus system.
Yeah.
We had looked that up, and it is, in fact, only between the U.S. and Canada.
Yeah, the Nexus is part of the Trusted Traveler Program overseen by Department of Homeland Security. There are 4 different things. I no longer have that pulled up. One of them is called Global Entry that seems to apply basically with most of the world. There's something else that applies for the U.S., Canada, and Mexico, but does not include something that the Nexus program does. And like there's all these really convoluted things.
Right. But for clarification, Nexus is just between the U.S. and Canada.
Yeah, that's something where I said I'm not entirely sure. I've got the thing, but I wasn't really sure. Let's go to the phones where we've got Sarah, speaking of people that kind of make things up at times. We've got Sarah calling in from New Mexico. Sarah, go ahead with your thoughts.
Hi, Sarah.
Oh, yes. I just want to get off the worldwide politics for just a moment. I know that yesterday was all about worldwide politics. So, yeah, you know what? You just kind of wonder who knows what's going on with Saudi Arabia and the U.S. military, but who knows, you know? So
I bet Saudi Arabia knows.
Well, you know what? Maybe Trump is telling the truth. Maybe he is telling a lie. Who knows? Maybe he doesn't know what's going on. But nobody knows what's going on, and I don't know what's going on. But I do have a hunch that, you know, we have many autoimmune diseases now. Autoimmune diseases.
That's quite a segue.
Yeah, I know. Today, because we have stopped eating off the vine. In other words, like we were actually meant to eat like vine ripened fruit off the vine, vegetables and fruit. We were meant to eat it when it was ripe.
Hold on. So are you saying, and I want to make sure that I am hearing you correctly. You're saying that people have AIDS because they don't eat fresh vegetables?
She said autoimmune, not AIDS.
Autoimmune disease is AIDS.
That's right.
That's what
disease.
AIDS is an acronym for autoimmune disease.
Right, fair enough. Here she goes. Jackie's gonna tell us all about it.
I was
Jackie.
about to go to bed, but Sarah, that is not what AIDS is. AIDS is autoimmune diseases like what I have, which is psoriatic arthritis or rheumatoid arthritis or Crohn's disease. It's when your immune system starts attacking your body because it can't tell the difference between healthy cells and viruses and bacteria.
Well, Sarah's saying that you only have that because you don't eat enough things off the vine.
Yeah, you know what? AIDS is the opposite of an autoimmune disease because AIDS is your immune system isn't working anymore, whereas autoimmune is your immune system was working too hard.
Yeah, AIDS stands for acquired immune deficiency syndrome. It is not.
Oh, I thought it was autoimmune disease.
No. How did you pass sex ed in school, Darryl?
We didn't have that where I went to school.
Oh yeah,
because
you're
I
from
grew up in Alabama.
Yeah, Alabama.
So,
I was starting to concede his point. I was getting confused.
Yeah, no.
So Sarah, continue
Thanks for
with your.
jumping in.
I'm curious here. Where did you get this information?
Well, you know the supplement I've been taking, the galactose molecule.
Yep, you've called in about this multiple times, claiming that it cures all kinds of things.
She called in to have us Google. Now, Sarah, is wherever you're getting it from, are you buying this from a friend who's like part of a multi-level marketing scheme and wants you to have like a party at your house and you can like get a discount or free product if you sell it to your friends too?
No, we just use the product. But I listened to one of the videos, and the cause of you have the rheumatoid arthritis. With the problem is that our killer cells, the white blood cells, they cannot tell the difference between a healthy cell and an invasive cell. It's a defective cell, and that is caused because we are lacking. Now, Darryl, you listen to me because you asked me a question. I'm trying to explain to you. You always interrupt me and butt in, okay?
I have been letting you talk, Sarah. I have not butted in. I'm letting you talk, except for now when I'm telling you that I was letting you talk. Go ahead.
Okay, the thing about it is that the way that we were meant to eat was we were supposed to eat an apple or a plum or a vegetable when it's ripe, when it's about to fall into the dirt. Because there's a special sugar, one of the 8 essential saccharides, that only enters in when it's ripe. It's called the galactose molecule. And we are missing that in our diet because we get food that's been picked like a week before.
Jackie's nodding her head.
I know, like Sarah, you're actually spot on, and you're correct. They pick stuff before it's ripe so that it'll stay fresher in shipping, and then they spray a gas on it to make it appear to ripe or to ripen. But you're absolutely correct that most food these days is picked before it's fully ripe and then shipped and then supposedly ripened in transit, but a lot of times just exposed to a gas that makes the skin ripen so that it appears ripe.
Right, but she's also saying that because you didn't eat an apple that fell off of the tree, that's the reason that you have arthritis and
it's probably
whatever
more
else.
complex than that, but she is absolutely correct that we are eating under-ripened food and that there is chemicals that don't develop until it's fully ripe.
Oh yeah, I concede that. But all the medical claims that she just made about if you take this one molecule, it cures everything. No, that's BS.
Yeah,
Sarah, thank you for the call.
It's probably overblown.
Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
When do you want to spot that burglar? When he's casing your home or after he's in? Ask John, whose Blink camera alerted him of burglars trying to break in while his family was home. Or Shannon, whose Blink camera caught a package thief. Blink motion-activated cameras are wire-free, set up in minutes, and run on 2 AA batteries that last up to 2 years. Save up to a whopping 40% off all outdoor XT and add-on cameras through December 22nd, while supplies last. Visit blinkprotect.com/holiday. blinkprotect.com/holiday.
Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it is now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com, pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on your screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. The LRN.FM's social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it. Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. In studio, it's Darryl.
Jackie.
I'm Laurel.
And we'll get back to the phones that are basically full. We'll get back to them in just a second, but want to tell you that Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialist at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it's now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash, BCH. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com. Pick the gift card that you want. Now, make sure that the gift card that you want is available in your country. Like some of the gift cards, and they have hundreds, might not be available where you live. Follow the instructions on screen and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight, and the gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. And again, I mentioned hundreds of brands. Some of those: Applebee's, Domino's, Home Depot, Uber, Hotels.com, Nike, and more. That website again, giftcards.bitcoin.com. Let's go to Andrew calling in from Virginia, who is probably going to tell me that I was wrong on what the definition of AIDS is, where I was corrected about that during that last segment. But Andrew, go ahead.
Yeah, I got a couple. I already heard them give you a hard time about that, but
yes.
I'm a registered nurse, so you had to get the healthcare guy calling in. But yeah, it's acquired immune deficiency syndrome, and I mean, I just wanted to point out that just before that, the whole wrong versus honest versus facts and intent. Like you honestly thought you were right, but you were wrong. So I'm not necessarily pro, or I'm pretty much a libertarian if I had to choose an initial behind my name, but that's just it.
That's a good point, Darryl.
Right, and
are you a dishonest man?
I admitted that I was wrong.
Yeah, but are you a dishonest man because you said the wrong thing?
Were you lying?
True.
In that case, I was being dishonest.
Well,
no, not by any conventional.
It was not intentional, but it was dishonest.
No, there's a definition. No, it was not. There's a difference between being dishonest and being stupid. You were just being stupid right then.
You're just being incorrect. Go ahead.
I mean. And the other thing I just wanted to say was, like, sometimes when I hear all these debates, it's like the Republicans versus the Democrats, and best you guys got. You know what I mean? Is this the best of the best that they have? Like some things,
I think it is.
Some things I like about what's going on, and some things I don't. I really won't know. For me personally, I tell people I wait to hold my decision about how a president did after his 4 years are up, as opposed to before he's even inaugurated. Like at the end of his shift, I'll say whether or not he's been a good employee or not. And the last thing I wanted to say was about the wall. We're spending billions and billions and billions rebuilding countries that don't want us over there. I didn't wake up this morning thinking, I want a wall. But I just think, just like a couple billion for a wall, that's like having a fence around. I put up a fence around my backyard. So I don't necessarily have a problem with it. I don't understand why people are so against it. You know what I mean? I'm not for it, but I don't understand why people are like, just leave it unlocked, because I'm a paleo libertarian?
Uh-huh. Yeah, I hear people say that the wall is immoral. Was that Pelosi said it's immoral? I'm like, how is it immoral?
I don't know. Right. I don't generally pay attention to what Nancy Pelosi says.
If you want to say it's too expensive, okay, I think there's an argument there, and there's arguments for and against. But immoral?
Well,
how is it immoral?
Hold on. It can't be built, and Andrew, thank you for the call. It can't be built without use of eminent domain to wind up taking a bunch of property from people.
I'm not a fan of eminent domain.
Theft of property is immoral. So I don't know if that's what she's saying. Probably not, because she's not a libertarian.
And I was going to say, I would say that it's immoral because I don't understand why conservatives and paleo-libertarians are so keen to violate my private property rights of who I want to have at my house or who I want to hire at my company or who I want to do business with. And building a border wall and saying like, oh, we're going to control who comes into the country. You're deciding who I can have over to my property or not, and who I can do business with or not.
So this sounds like an open borders argument.
Yes, it's very much an open borders argument. I think I think all we need is like, hey, are they coming at us with a tank? No? Okay, then. It should be as easy for anybody to come into the United States to live and work as it is for, like, I don't know, an upper class person from Canada to come down to shop.
So do you think that it's immoral not to have open borders? Open borders is the only moral solution?
Yes.
Uh-huh. So it's not that the border wall itself is immoral. It's that having any kind of border security at all is immoral.
I would say anything above, like, we obviously will defend against like an aggressing army or, you know, the guy that the time somebody tried to drive a truckload of explosives through the Peace Arch up in Washington State. That's where I'm from. Like, yeah, we should stop that dude who was driving down from Canada with a truckload of explosives. If somebody's coming at us, you know, with a tank, yes, at this point, that's a national defense issue. But I don't see that there should be any restriction beyond what would we let, you know, an upper class white person from Canada, if we would let them come down and shop, and they're acting like somebody we'd let come for a day trip shopping from Canada, then that should be the same standard we apply to anybody who wants to live and work and do business here as well.
Okay, so one of the inconsistencies that Nancy Pelosi has was that when she said that the wall would be immoral, it was immediately after she said that border security was acceptable. So what's the difference? Why is border security okay?
Who even knows what goes on in Nancy Pelosi's head? I mean, I seriously think one of the big problems that we have in Congress is what's the average age, or not the average, the median age of like the senators and Congress people?
About 1 million.
Yeah, it's like I seriously think a lot of them are starting to get various dementia issues. And so Nancy Pelosi, I think, is definitely showing some signs of dementia.
Right.
I've heard other people say that as well. I haven't seen it, but I've heard people say
the only thing that I will defend Nancy Pelosi as having said is when she said we have to pass the bill to know what's in it, because I tried reading that bill and almost everything was fill in the blank as prescribed by the Secretary of Health and Human Services. So you don't know what regulations the Secretary of Health and Human Services is going to come up with until you authorize them to write the regulations.
So why would you pass a bill like that if you didn't know what you were passing until after it was done?
I wasn't saying that they should pass the bill. I was just explaining what she meant when she said it, where there were a bunch of people saying, what a dum-dum. She doesn't even know what's in there. Well, nobody does.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's because, I mean, Laurel's the lawyer here, but I mean, there's the actual written law, there's case law, and then there's this whole body of administrative law that gets made up along the way. And you may know, like, how long is the history of that? Is that something that was already in place, or is that something that was invented since?
It's inherent in how to do it. If Congress says, okay, I want you to go build this building, then there's a lot of logistics involved in how to build the building. So Congress says go build the building, and then the executive branch figures out, okay, well, we have to hire people, and how big is it going to be?
I'm talking about
that's exactly what administrative law is.
But of like for the agencies and stuff, like a lot of stuff EPA comes up with isn't something that Congress wrote and voted on.
But
it's
Congress has given them the authority to do
and I'm wondering what percentage of law is administrative law these days versus 250 years ago. I'm guessing there's been tremendous growth.
Well, there's been growth in the federal government.
No, because there are more laws than can be read in, what is it, like 7 lifetimes?
Probably.
I think. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Oh, yeah, and it's Festivus. You want to air some grievances? You're free to do that.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
Free speech is protected on the internet, right? Not always. Government agencies try to limit free speech and commerce on the net. Luckily, when they do, the Institute for Justice is there to defend your First Amendment right to free speech. IJ helped set the first federal precedent for internet free speech in 1999, and ever since has worked to prevent unconstitutional roadblocks in cyberspace. Visit our website today at ij.org.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450 free. That's 855-450-3733. You are free to call in and talk live to us about whatever is on your mind. And since it's Festivus, you can call in to air some grievances if you want to do that. Let's go to Linda calling in from Colorado. Linda, you're on Free Talk Live with Darryl, Jackie, and Laurel. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Hi, how are you?
Doing well. You're on the radio. Go ahead.
Go ahead. All right. I wanted to check, and I was going to ask another question, but
go for
something came up as far as the gal that was talking about the border walls and stuff, and thinking that it should be free to anybody to come into the country.
Okay, I didn't say that. That was Jackie.
Yeah, that was me.
Okay. No, not that one. The gal that, I believe it was the gal that was on the phone. talking to you guys.
Oh, Jackie came into the
Anyhow.
studio. She's here now.
No, I'm actually here physically in the
okay.
studio. I was gonna be on tonight, and then I wasn't because I was tired. And then I heard Darryl like completely screwing up the definition, conflating AIDS with autoimmune, and I jumped on, and now I guess I'm on.
So Jackie is in favor of open borders. I'm Laurel, and I am very much not in favor of open borders. But go ahead.
Thank
We're
you.
interrupting
I
you.
agree. No, that's fine. The difference with people coming in from other countries legally or coming over the border, whether you're going into Mexico or coming out of Mexico or Canada, either one, you've got to have a passport anymore. And you've had to have it for the last 10 years, if not more.
You still have to have a passport.
That's not entirely
You have to
true.
get a passport-like document, or you have to carry your birth certificate with you.
Right. You can still, if you are a U.S. citizen and you have left the United States without a passport, you can still get back into the United States without the passport.
Right, yeah.
Even though the regulation is written to where they strongly suggest that you have a passport, but under international law, you cannot be prevented from returning to your residence.
I think they want you to carry proof of identity and proof of citizenship, which
Correct.
a passport is both, but you could, I believe, also carry your driver's license and your birth certificate.
Yeah, but you should be prepared to spend a couple of hours in secondary if you do. If there's anything suspicious about it.
Right. Just like there are people trying to say, and Linda will let you make the point here in a second, there are people trying to say that, once the Real ID rules go into effect, and we don't actually know when that is because they keep pushing it off, you won't be able to fly if you have a driver's license from this state or this other one. Right. Well, no, the TSA has on their website, here's what to do if you lost your ID or don't have one. Basically, you have to get there 4 hours early and have a very in-depth conversation with a TSA agent.
Incidentally, and we are going to let you talk in just a second, if you show up at the border with your birth certificate and you say you're a U.S. citizen, then yes, they have to let you in, but it might not go the way you think it is. If they really think that you're not a U.S. citizen and you're claiming to be a U.S. citizen, they can take you in and detain you until you see an immigration judge, which could be several weeks.
Yes.
So just beware of that. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I've got a passport, so I'm not worried about that.
Okay.
But people coming into the country are supposed to have a passport.
Mm-hmm.
The illegals do not, and they keep coming in over any way they can get in.
Some do, some don't.
The southern end.
Some of them have passports. They're just not using them to enter.
And one problem is you have to get your passport from your home country, and some home countries are very restrictive, especially for people they don't like politically and who they give passports to.
Right, and there's also information that came out that there's a sizable chunk of people that are what some would refer to as illegal immigrants that have simply overstayed their visa.
Yeah. Okay. A point on that, getting your passport there. The only country, because I'm an immigration lawyer and I deal with unlawfully present immigrants all the time. The only group of clients who really just can't get a passport if they're unlawfully present in the U.S. are Germans. That's the only country I've ever dealt with where they will refuse to give passports to their own citizens if they're unlawfully present in that country.
That's people who are already here, though. I'm saying for people to come to the United States, I actually agree with her. In an ideal world, I as I said, I would like the restrictions to be the same as they would for an upper class, white Canadian coming down to shop for the day. And that would include showing a passport so that they know, who is this person? That's a level of border restriction I'm willing to take. The only problem that I see, and, where other people who are a little more open borders than me might have a problem, is for people coming from other countries getting passports from within their country. That has become increasingly difficult in some of the places we would want to rescue people from, like Venezuela.
Right, and
Venezuela Talk Live here again.
Venezuela has said that,
but not Mexico.
Well, Venezuela has said the only way that you can get a passport now is to use this petro cryptocurrency that they've not actually released. In China, they're using the Sesame credit thing to prevent their own people from traveling, and I presume that means also getting the documents that they would need to travel.
Yeah, there's definitely a history of repressive regimes not allowing people they don't want to leave have passports.
That is not the majority of the people entering the country unlawfully, though.
No, it's not. And I would say that is, so for me, I would agree, like, hey, I want people to have a passport, but then I'm going and critiquing my own position in that some of the people that I think would be most morally valid to accept as refugees are going to be people who can't get passports from their own repressive governments because they're being targeted by their government.
Refugees do not need a passport to enter.
Okay, so then that solves that.
Linda,
well, that
any further
and also
thoughts?
the fact that they come in to where they will go through the. They're not going to sit there and try and sneak over to get in. Where most of the time, most of the people that they've been catching, as well as most of the people in that caravan, and the ones that are coming up, pretty much 75 to 80% of them, were young men.
Yes.
Military age.
Mm-hmm.
And not even from Venezuela. A lot of them were from the Middle East.
I've not heard any credible.
That's not true.
There are some. There are a few that are from the Middle East, but it's not most. It's a small minority.
Probably less than 1%. It's like a handful.
Probably.
Most of them, from what I've heard, are from Honduras and El Salvador, fleeing gang violence.
And Guatemala.
And then there's arguments, and Linda, thank you for the call. There's arguments as to whether or not those gangs are actually government agents that are posing as gangs.
Okay. Based on the interviews that the reporters have had with a lot of the Central Americans, some of them are fleeing gang violence, but most of them are economic migrants. They're fleeing poverty, which is not the same thing as fleeing violence. There are a lot of them are fleeing gang violence for sure.
Right.
But whether that's the majority, I think that's probably not the majority. I think the majority are economic migrants looking for better jobs.
Yeah, and as Darryl mentioned earlier, like most, quote unquote illegal immigrants are people who came here legally and overstayed their visa.
Okay, I take exception with they came legally. Yes and no. They came with a valid visa obtained through fraud. Yeah. If a person intends at the time they get their visa and or the time they enter the country, if they intend to overstay, which is most of the overstays, then they are entering with misrepresentation.
That's a good point. So they did all the legal paperwork.
Yes.
But they may have lied.
Exactly.
For how long they were going to be here. But they did actually go through the process.
It's a procedurally correct entry.
Okay,
it's not an entry without inspection.
I love having a lawyer on the show. Because, we really do get to have pedantic talk live here.
Uh-huh.
I almost jumped in earlier when I heard you talking about unemployment rates, because that's another pet peeve, and I wanted to get all, econ pedantic talk live on that, but the moment's passed.
Some overstays were completely lawful. You do have people who enter, let's say they enter as a student, they're on a student visa, they're here for a couple of years lawfully, then they get married and they don't want to go back. Maybe their spouse is a permanent resident. They
getting
can't adjust
married
status.
requires a different visa, and I know about this because a friend of mine met his now wife when they were both students in college. When he proposed, they then figured out, she needs a different visa to get married, and during the time she could no longer go to school and she could not work because it's a different type of visa.
Yeah. Well, she would adjust status if she's marrying a U.S. citizen.
Well, it was during the application process for getting approval to adjust the status.
Right.
That there was some period of time where it's like, all right, we've just got to have a bunch of money because you can't do anything.
It's about 3 months.
She just had to sit at home.
1 to 3 months.
Well, I think in his case it took a year.
Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450 free.
There are basically two types of advertising: direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
You want to know the 37 items you must have to survive a crisis? Then I've got some good news for you. Former CIA officer and New York Times best-selling author Jason Hansen is now giving listeners a free copy of his book, The Escape Bag Blueprint, 37 Items You Must Have to Survive a Crisis. You can claim your copy at freeescapebook.com. Don't delay. Jason reveals the guns, knives, flashlights, and water filters that could save your life in an economic collapse or grid-down event. Get your free book today, freeescapebook.com. freeescapebook.com.
Silver has always been nature's very own antibiotic, and only one system allows you to produce an endless supply of nano-sized silver solutions right from the convenience of your home. Silver Lungs. With the addition of our unique lung delivery system, respiratory infections are targeted directly, where traditional oral administration simply cannot reach. This pioneering method also preserves the original particle sizes and delivers your silver solution directly into the bloodstream. See the Silver Lungs generator and lung delivery system at silverlungs.com. That's silverlungs.com.
Want revenge on the common housefly? Well, after 10,000 years, someone has finally come up with a better way. The Bug Assault, a miniaturized shotgun, which utilizes ordinary table salt as ammunition. Non-toxic and no batteries required. So much fun, you'll forget you have a wife and kids. Makes the perfect stocking stuffer. Get your Bug Assault today and save $10 on the Bug Beam Laser Combo, only at bugassault.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Live on this Festivus, where you can call in to air the grievances, which is a Festivus tradition. There's also feats of strength that are not really, translatable to radio. Might happen after the show. But in studio tonight is Darryl.
Jackie.
I'm Laurel.
And maybe we can all air some grievances
with
later on, possibly, maybe. But let's first go to Robert calling in from Virginia. Robert, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Yeah, earlier you were saying that you were talking in circles with regards to misinformation and lying, but I think you were on the cusp of something that would be reconciled with an old saying. When an honest man learns he was mistaken, he will either cease to be mistaken or cease to be honest. If the information you have is believed to be true because someone gave you the wrong information, and then if you repeat it, you will pass a lie detector regardless if the information is true or not. You are simply ignorant but not lying. However, if I know something is false and I represent it as true, then it's intentional deception. Now you are lying. If you don't realize your information's wrong, then you're simply ignorant. But lying requires an intent to deceive.
Right, but that still does not answer my question about if somebody, let's say that somebody passes a lie detector with flying colors because they honestly believe that the earth is flat, the sky is purple, Mount Everest is the shortest mountain in the world, but I know that all of those things are... Hold on. I know that those things are false, but they pass a lie detector. I'm not going to say that that's an honest man.
You're using a non-standard definition of honesty then.
Yeah. And someone who's dishonest is somebody who is saying something that they know is not true. There's this requirement that you know that it's false. Now,
Donald Trump makes stuff up.
Okay.
He's not an honest man.
Well, the thing is, it depends on if he knows he's making it up or not, because he could be like clinically manic and seriously believe that speaking it brings it into reality if he decides it's reality. And then we got a 25th Amendment situation going on. And he needs to be out of there.
I think there's also this sort of gray area where you're being disingenuous, which is when you have sort of convinced yourself that something is true, but you kind of know it's not true. And you've done this mental gymnastics where you're like, I think I can say this, but you sort of deep down know that it's not true.
Friends of ours, we call that rational lying to yourself. You find a way of making something true, even if you know it's not 100% true, and you're representing it as though it's 100% true. Now you are doing deception.
Right, that sounds like what's referred to as a lie of omission.
A lie of omission would be you just didn't bring it up at all.
Needs to be said. Now you know that something needs to be said because the lack of saying it will cause people to believe a difference that would be corrected by saying the omitted item. And the lie of omission is now you showing intent to deceive through the lack of communicating the corrected path of the thought.
Okay, I agree. That would be a lie of omission is you said something that wasn't true, then you found out it wasn't true. You thought it was true. When you found out it wasn't true, you didn't correct it. Yeah, that would be a lie of omission.
And that goes back to when an honest person learns they were mistaken, you'll either cease to be mistaken by saying, whoops, I was wrong, or you'll cease to be honest.
Mm-hmm. And the problem
because now you know it's wrong.
The problem with Trump is he really is often just making stuff up. He's not repeating anything that he heard or read elsewhere because nobody has said or written that. He's just inventing it whole cloth. So either he knows he's just making stuff. Well, either way, he's got to know he's just making stuff up. He's not repeating something he heard. He knows it's coming from his head. So either he knows he's lying or he is actually clinically manic and thinks that he is manifesting reality through his words and he needs to not be president either way.
I think sometimes he makes mental leaps that most people would not make. Let's put it that way.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a way to put it. But I think that if he is not lying when he makes stuff up, then he is actually like full on crazy.
And I think disingenuous is probably a very good word to describe
most politicians.
I think it's more likely that he's just, I think it's like a 90% chance that he's just lying and he knows he's just making stuff up. But I think there's a 10% chance that he's gotten so high on his own ego after the Twitter and the reality TV that he really thinks he could just make things happen by saying that they're so.
I think the caller wanted to add something.
Yeah, go ahead, Robert.
Oh, yeah, no, I was just thinking that's one of the problems that prosecutions and lawyers and judges have to deal with is, are the words coming out of your mouth, do you think they're true because you were told wrong, because you made them up, because you're intentionally trying to deceive, or because you were simply ignorant about something? Mm-hmm. And so from the other side of this, if you're listening to someone talk and you know that the world is a globe and that the sky is blue, but you hear them saying the world is flat and the sky is purple, all you want to do is say, are they lying or are they ignorant? Because they sound the same to you unless you understand the intent, which is not easily communicated.
Yes, they sound the same. And Robert, thank you for the call. And I think one of the, I don't know if it's the best example, but a pretty good example of what I meant by lie of omission. And let's do a courtroom scenario here for the lawyer in the room. Let's say that there's somebody up on the witness stand and the prosecution asks, did you rob the bank? And they respond with, I had chicken for lunch.
That's
they're
just
not
evading the question.
It's evading the question, but like it could kind of be some kind of thing to where they're not telling the truth. Maybe they did eat chicken, but they're not answering the question. But if it's answered in such a way that it leads everybody to know, yes, they did the thing, they just didn't say that they did the thing.
I don't know that's it's not really a good example of a lie of omission.
Yeah.
That's just not answering the question.
It's just not answering the question.
All right, so I went to the bank and then I walked out with $5 billion and then I ate chicken for lunch. But that doesn't answer whether I robbed the bank. But there was $5 billion that was stolen from the bank.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's not telling the truth, but it's not lying from a legal standpoint. I really don't know. Like, now I'm confused about what is true and what's a lie.
Well, it's like leaving a blank on, and since I don't really do court, but looking at a lot of the forms work that you do at the various government agencies, let's say that it asks about previous names used and you have previously used an alias and you just leave it blank. So you didn't provide false information, but you left it blank. And that would be sort of like what you're saying is you didn't provide the information and you handed it in because the
form says if any.
Right. And the presumption that the person is going to make when they receive the form is you haven't used a previous alias because you didn't put anything in that spot.
That's how I got into college when I was 15. Because this is back in the day of paper application forms. This is community college.
Back in the 90s.
Yeah. So I just didn't fill out the birth date part because legally in my state at the time you couldn't go to college under 18 without permission of your high school, and I basically told them to go do things I can't say on the radio and walked out a few months prior. And I was bored, so I just started going to community college, but it's like legally I would have had to gotten the school district's permission to do that, and so I just failed to provide my birth date and got in.
It's crazy that you need the school district's permission.
Let's
I
go
don't know
back
what it
to the
currently
phones.
is, but
We've
that's what
got
it was at the
Bad
time.
Slave calling in from somewhere in New Hampshire. Bad Slave, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts. Bad Slave, are you there?
He got mad.
Bad
walked away.
Slave going once. I'll put you on hold. Try you again in a bit. Let's try Lumpy in the Discord call-in line. Lumpy, you're on Free Talk Live.
Good evening, folks. Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Loud and clear. Go ahead.
I miss hearing Bad Slave. I always like when he calls in. But anyway, I just want to say, first of all, this show reaches all over the world, all over our very round rock here. So just keeping that in mind, I'm trying to address this migration issue. And I did tune into the show late tonight, so forgive me if I'm missing some things. I do see this as a personal property issue or a personal property rights issue. I don't believe that any centralized gang or if you will, and I'm sorry, I am including you in this as a lawyer because you're perpetuating a system of oppression here, and I understand that you try, and it is. That's what it is. That's fact. I hear you snickering, but I mean I understand.
I get paid to do it, so hey.
Totally get it. But when it comes down to personal property, I don't think there's any, and that's personal property meaning my body, whatever's around me in the area that I control. It's up to me to decide. That's spontaneous order. I don't need anyone telling me with the threat of violence what I can and cannot do. And I don't think that it's right to tell anyone from anywhere in this world. It's up to me to provide that
Lumpy,
decision.
hold the line. This is Free
Would you
Talk
like to
Live.
get back that full head of hair from years past? Introducing Reveal from GCNlife.com. Beverly Hills dermatologist Dr. Nathan Newman invented Reveal, which contains polypeptides with natural botanicals and no parabens, sulfates, silicones, or dyes for a salon-quality hair growth product. Reveal. Here's Dr. Newman.
I've treated a lot of patients who lose their hair and they lose their confidence. We've created a unique set of polypeptides, which we call HPT6. The HPT6 contains the polypeptides from 6 different plants. The scalp infusion treatment should be used on wet or dry scalp. The Reveal hair care system is designed to be used for men and women alike.
Get Reveal at GCNlife.com with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So try Reveal today at GCNlife.com or 844-443-6637. Plus a discount up to 25% off for Reveal at GCNlife.com or 844-443-6637.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Nestle Pure Life Water, helping you drink better and live better by providing a zero-calorie alternative to sugary drinks. Visit us at nestle-purelife.us. When kids are playing, they often don't want to stop to keep hydrated, so send them out with a bottle of water and encourage them to take frequent drink breaks, or call them inside for a quick sip. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Sunday, December 23rd, 2018. Silver is trading at $14.63 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,256 per ounce. Zen is trading at $5, and the average price of Bitcoin is $3,992. Antiwar.com reports citing his anger at the decision to withdraw U.S. forces from Syria this week. Brett McGurk, U.S. Special Envoy to the war against the Islamic State, has announced his resignation. He had reportedly told co-workers he'd intended to retire in February. This follows Defense Secretary James Mattis also resigning over the Syria pullout. Mattis offered very subtle criticism in his resignation letter, while McGurk was a lot more vehement, insisting there was no plan in place and the administration had no thought of what the consequences would be. McGurk was intended to coordinate with the 79 countries involved in the U.S. coalition against the Islamic State. It is not clear who his replacement will be, but with the administration arguing that the Islamic State is now defeated, there may be low priority for the position. After Mattis and now McGurk, there is speculation that others may be about to resign in the coming days, also for being at odds with Trump's orders to leave Syria. In the Pentagon, there is believed to be broad unity towards keeping the war going, as evidenced by the number of Pentagon officials who spent the last 2 years talking up long-term presence there. If there is a large exodus, this might also be an opportunity to purge the pro-war leadership that has been cultivated over the past generation, who saw their careers grow as U.S. wars took on more aggressive forms. Though Trump still would have to find alternative candidates and find them palatable to his own worldview, this may, in retrospect, prove to be a major chance to split up bureaucrats' policy views from the homogeny of recent history to view war-making as something to weigh seriously and not just rubber stamp. Zencash is now Horizon. Horizon is a privacy platform built on zero-knowledge technology with a decentralized secure node architecture. The Horizon platform enables real-life uses beyond currency, including the ability to privately chat with other people. Soon, Horizon will enable you to publish information and go anywhere on the web, all with complete privacy. Horizon, bringing privacy to life. Learn more at horizon.global. HORIZEN.global. UPI reports the family of a South Florida woman slain in Costa Rica has filed a lawsuit against Airbnb and the owners of the resort where she rented a room in November. Carla Stefaniak's family said the owners of Villa Le Mas, a secluded resort in the San Jose suburb of San Antonio de Escazo, failed to conduct a background check of a Nicaraguan security guard who was in Costa Rica illegally, according to a suit filed in Hillsborough County, Florida. Bismarck Espinoza Martinez killed Stefaniak on November 28th, her 36th birthday, when she returned to the apartment villa she rented through Airbnb after dropping off her sister-in-law at the airport, according to authorities. Martinez was arrested on December 3rd, several hours after search dogs found Stefaniak's body in plastic bags on the property about 1,000 feet from her room. His job came with the free use of a hotel apartment, which was next to the one rented by Stefaniak. The security guard had a pass key to every room in the complex, according to the lawsuit. In the suit, the resort's owners and Airbnb were accused of being negligent of protecting customers. The suit alleges that all parties profiting from Stefaniak's booking, including Airbnb, should have known the potential danger posed by giving Martinez unsupervised access to vulnerable women guests in a private setting. You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. Fans are friends, allies, and numerous supporters. Fans help FPP afford to produce more original content. You can join the Fans program for as little as $1 per month through Patreon and get perks like ad-free versions of FPP Radio News and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com. Reuters reports a New Jersey high school referee was suspended after a video showed a black wrestler being forced to have his hair cut before a bout after being told he would have to forfeit the match if he refused, according to a state athletic official on Saturday. The video, which was uploaded on Twitter on Thursday by a reporter of SNJ Today newspaper, showed Andrew Johnson of Buena Regional High School in Buena, New Jersey, getting his dreadlock hairstyle cut off by a school official. Moments later, Johnson, who is black, won his match against his opponent. A referee named Al Maloney, who is white, apparently had ordered Johnson to cut off his hair, according to a local media report. The clip went viral on Friday, with many social media users condemning the school for allowing Maloney to make the order, calling it racist and discriminatory. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Our planet is but a giant petri dish swirling with pathogens, all mixed by the filthy stirring straw that is the world's fauna. Simply by sitting on her eggs and breathing, this duck unleashes a torrent of avian botulism, cholera, and duck plague into the air. These jousting elk slough off bits of skin and fur, sending millions of harmful bacteria into the air. Our closest relative, the chimpanzee, is itself the fountainhead of AIDS. Bitter at the ascendancy of man, these scheming apes brood this deadly virus in their jungle lairs. Nowhere on Earth is safe from the threat of animals. Even in the bitter wasteland of the Antarctic, penguins walk for miles inland, ensuring their afflictions reach every corner of the globe.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. Kicking off hour number 3. You can call in and talk live to us. 855-450-FREE is the toll-free call-in line. Plus, we've got the Discord call-in lines available over at discord.lrn.fm. And yes, it is Festivus, which means that if you want to air some grievances, then you can do that because it's a Festivus tradition. And we'll be live tomorrow on Christmas Eve, the day after that on Christmas Day. Next Monday is New Year's Eve, and then New Year's Day, we're live on all of them. There's not a lot of live radio on holidays, other than, like maybe some sports broadcast. But that's not really interactive, right? But you can actually call in and talk to us. 855-450-FREE. 855-450-3733. The us in studio is Darryl,
Jackie,
Laurel.
And let's go back to Lumpy calling in on one of those Discord call-in lines. Lumpy, you're back on. Continue with your thought.
Howdy. Well, I appreciate you guys taking my call still. And I just get back to what I was saying earlier before the break. If someone is, in sub-Saharan Africa is listening, and I know they are, as an individual, I personally don't want to disallow the potential to have that individual bring whatever dreams and hopes and aspirations that they feel that is best that they can offer to market for their own self-interest as well as anybody else's, because it's not up to any centralized group to make a decision for me or anybody else. It's up to me to make that decision. I appreciate Gene the Anarchist calling in all the time because, I agree that there's nothing wrong with a little self-responsibility, if not a lot of self-responsibility. And I don't believe that anyone can trade any of that for any centralized group or pretending that they're going to give any kind of security or make anything better or safety or whatever they pretend they're going to offer. It's up to me to interact just like it is for them to interact with other individuals and bring their own This is how their own gifts to market, or if and I'm not trying to go in an anarchist bent here because I know that but anyway, I just think that it's not up to any centralized or perception of centralized power, if you will, to make any decisions for me or anybody else. And I know there's a history that we have to consider, such as, a lot of people think that the lands were stolen. The white man came to here and stolen. I don't mean that as property rights. I mean as an individual, based on whatever history we have that's brought us to the point we are now. It's up to the individual to make that decision, whether it's right, wrong, indifferent. Sometimes we lose, sometimes we win. That's just the harsh reality. It's going to be that way whether we have a centralized perception of power or not making decisions for us. All of us are going to feel pains because that's just the reality of life as I see it. I'm hoping I'm making sense anyway. And I think y'all are heroes. I appreciate y'all for bringing this show, especially on the holidays and being live over the holidays. And you guys have changed my mind on so many important issues for so long ago. I mean, so long ago. And I appreciate y'all for that.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for the call. And I think Jackie's got something to say
You did
here.
bring up sort of an interesting side note there on property rights, where you were talking about property rights and you were talking about the history of how property has been stolen from various people and groups throughout the years. And one problem that I have with a lot of modern libertarians is they're fine with just drawing the line at the current distribution of property, even though you can't really find a moral basis for it, because at some point...
No, it's a pragmatic basis,
yes,
not a moral one.
Yes. And, like a lot of libertarians like to go back to John Locke as their moral basis for property rights, but find me an unbroken chain of voluntary, non-coercive transactions in a society in which everybody had an equal opportunity to participate or not participate in a property market, going back to that first person who mixed their land with the labor, and there's almost nowhere on earth like that at all. So I definitely, one reason I'm a left libertarian and I differ with a lot of libertarians on property rights is I don't think there's a strong moral argument for absolute ownership of land.
So correct me if I'm wrong. What I hear you saying is that if you look at the history of the world and you go back, it's just a matter of how far you need to go back before you find a war over that land, and whoever
or fraud
won,
or violence in some way.
That, you can't just cherry pick, oh, you stole the land from this other person, therefore it should go back to this first person, when it's just a matter of how far you go back, and all the land's been stolen back and forth over the centuries everywhere.
Yeah, so the fundamental moral argument for private property that a lot of libertarians use is the Lockean argument, which is, okay, if you go out into this, untamed wilderness and you're the first person to mix your labor with the land and improve the land, that's because you own yourself and you've gone and used yourself to improve something that nobody owned. That's how you've made it. It's like an extension of your personal ownership of yourself. Now you own the land because you're the one that has gone and claimed and improved it. And the problem is like, okay, yeah, if we were starting over on a brand new planet, that's a legitimate argument to make for the moral basis of property rights, of land specifically. Like, I'm not talking about people's personal property. But the problem is like, that I have with a lot of libertarians is they just sort of like, oh yeah, I'm starting with some sort of, prior principles that just happen to coincidentally support the system that we have now that favors me. And it's like, no, you didn't start with some principles and then think things through and decide this was morally the best system. This happens to be the one that you're used to and that benefits you, and then you went and like tweaked your principles until you found an argument that supports the status quo.
Right, but why should you give up the position that benefits you when everybody wants the position that benefits them? It's not like if you step down, somebody with these super moral values who's going to be fair to everybody is going to step into your place.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. But I really get annoyed with the people out there who have, private ownership of land is some absolute moral absolute because blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no. Not really. You just came up with whatever arguments would support you owning what you own right now.
Let's go back to the phones. We've got Bad Slave calling in on a different line. Hopefully we can hear him now. Bad Slave, are you there?
I hope. Yes, Darryl. Thank you.
Excellent. What's on your mind?
I'm really excited that we have two very smart women on the panel today, and that is fabulous. Laurel and Jackie. Yes, and thank you for both of you being there at the same time.
Sure, we've been on together before.
Oh, you have? I haven't caught it.
Only once. Only once.
Right. I don't think it's happened very often that we've had two women. Anyway, so you're an attorney, Laurel, and I almost, there's an automatic thing for me and attorneys that they're members of the bar, and they are also, I think, they pledge allegiance.
I had to pledge allegiance to the state of New Hampshire. I was licensed in Texas, and I'm still licensed in Texas before I arrived here. I just moved to New Hampshire a few months ago. I waved in, and in order to get licensed, I had to swear allegiance to the state of New Hampshire.
No, but isn't there something with regards to the Bar Association?
I don't have to swear allegiance to the Bar Association.
Okay, well, that's great, because in order, almost every attorney that I ask this question to, where I say, listen, we've got judges, we've got legislators, we've got defense and prosecutors, and all of these people are bar attorneys, and all of these people are in some way understanding that they have to, honor justice in some way, or that's what our belief system is.
Well, I had to swear.
Hold the line. We can continue discussing this, plus your calls and thoughts here in moments. 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733.
When do you want to spot that burglar? When he's casing your home or after he's in? Ask John, whose Blink camera alerted him of burglars trying to break in while his family was home. Or Shannon, whose Blink camera caught a package thief. Blink motion-activated cameras are wire-free, set up in minutes, and run on 2 AA batteries that last up to 2 years. Save up to a whopping 40% off all outdoor XT and add-on cameras through December 22nd, while supplies last. Visit blinkprotect.com/holiday. blinkprotect.com/holiday.
You want to know the 37 items you must have to survive a crisis? Then I've got some good news for you. Former CIA officer and New York Times best-selling author Jason Hansen is now giving listeners a free copy of his book, The Escape Bag Blueprint, 37 Items You Must Have to Survive a Crisis. You can claim your copy at freeescapebook.com. Don't delay. Jason reveals the guns, knives, flashlights, and water filters that could save your life in an economic collapse or grid-down event. Get your free book today, freeescapebook.com. freeescapebook.com.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, the inventor of MyPillow, and like all of you out there, I had problems sleeping. Pillows would go flat, I would flip-flop all night long, I would wake up with a sore neck, maybe a headache, or feel like I needed a nap even though I slept 8 hours. When I invented MyPillow, I wanted it to where you can move the patented fill to give you the exact support you need as an individual, regardless of sleep position. MyPillow will get you into that deep sleep faster, and you will stay there longer. It's not about how much time we spend in bed, it's about how much of that quality sleep we get. I do all of my own manufacturing right here in the United States. I have a 10-year warranty. You can wash and dry MyPillow, and I give you a 60-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose.
And here's Mike's best offer ever. MyPillow is now offering 50% off their 4-pack special plus free shipping. Go to MyPillow.com or call 800-951-5617 and use promo code FTL. That's 50% off plus free shipping. Don't delay. Order now.
A hot new murder craze sweeps Chicago. Things that shouldn't be said in modern society are said 1,400 times at the RNC, and a brave woman enters a restaurant without first looking it up online. This is the Onion Week in Review. The World Wildlife Fund quickly backtracked Thursday from a recently released press statement saying panda ears are, quote, absolutely delicious. Organization officials noted that while panda ears do taste amazing braised, steamed, fried, or cooked in an omelet, they should not have announced it publicly, nor should they have ever eaten any part of a cheetah, giraffe, or Bengal tiger, no matter how good they may be. According to company sources, the Netflix board of directors held a tense series of meetings earlier this morning to decide whether the fantasy comedy Michael is stream-worthy. The board reportedly sat through its mandatory 2 back-to-back screenings of the 1996 film starring John Travolta as an angel visiting Earth, all while passionately arguing over the film's story, acting, and level of enjoyment upon subsequent viewings to determine if the movie should be available through its instant viewing program.
This is the Onion News Network.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We'll get back to the phones in just a moment. But first, want to make sure that I tell you about something that libertarians have been asking for at least a decade that I'm aware of, probably longer. And that's a directory of liberty-minded businesses. Well, we're helping build one. It's called liberty.menu. It's a tool for our community. At its core is a directory of events, businesses, digital content, and more. Listings can be rated and reviewed, kind of like on Yelp, but there's also a bit of a social networking aspect where you can actually connect and share with other users. Use of liberty.menu is exclusively for individuals who reject the initiation of force and those who agree to abide by the ethics of the non-aggression principle. Put your voluntarist ideas into action at liberty.menu. And since the site is free to use, we can't give you a discount because 10% off of zero is still zero. But we can give you a special Free Talk Live listener badge. And you can get that by using code FTL, as in Free Talk Live, over at liberty.menu. Let's head back to Bad Slave, calling in from somewhere in New Hampshire. And he had the lawyer in the room, sort of on the witness stand,
sure,
if you will. So, Bad Slave, continue.
All righty. That's great. Thank you. I want to just say that I think members of the bar are signed up to basically kind of an evil organization. I think they get that way because they are a monopoly. Do you all agree that monopolies, when they're not necessary, which is a good question, all in and of itself, but when there doesn't have to be a monopoly, that monopolies are bad.
There are times when I argue with my colleagues about making information public on how to do cases yourself, where the other attorneys say, no, if we put that information out there and people do the cases themselves and screw up, then they're worse off. So it's better if we don't do that. And I disagree with them and say, But that means that for people who cannot afford an attorney, there's nothing. So, yeah,
That's right.
some of
That's
them, I
exactly
think
right.
what they are really wanting to do, they're rationalizing. It's what we were talking about before.
Right.
It's disingenuous. What they really want is a monopoly. So I have fought, I know what you're talking about when you say that, and I have fought against that when I've been able to.
Hooray! You took a step in the right direction for me. Thank you very much, Laurel. I to go beyond that. Okay, I believe, and I think I've checked this out amongst those in the government, the general court, so to say, that in fact the ability of someone to actually operate as a lawyer outside the bar has actually occurred, and it can be done, but right now I think statutorily it's tied to the bar. What I would like,
it depends. There are certain situations where people who are not licensed to practice law can, in very limited circumstances, represent other people. For example, in immigration law, you can become an accredited representative as long as you're working in nonprofit.
In New Hampshire, they allow for what's referred to as an attorney in fact, to where it's somebody that's not necessarily a lawyer that is representing you, but they can't do it for profit, and they still have to meet certain guidelines of being, sort of an upstanding citizen.
It's still very, very carefully restricted.
And is that determined by the RSAs or the Constitution? Who actually limits that access?
So in New Hampshire, there is an RSA is basically what they call the statutory law in New Hampshire. So there is some statutory law in there, but as far as the actual approval of, yes, Jackie can represent Darryl in this particular case, that's up to the judge based on his determination of whether or not she, fits whatever arbitrary idea of upstanding.
For state laws, for things that are regarding state laws, it's going to be the state legislature that makes these determinations.
But there could be something in a state constitution somewhere.
Exactly.
In general, professional licensing requirements are state-level law.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. For
okay, so
representation in front of
it's the domain of the general court. It's the domain of the general court.
Not exactly.
And that's what I
the general court's what they call the legislature in New Hampshire.
Right. And this is why I'm jumping in, because not exactly. For federal law, it's going to depend on the federal agency. So a lot of the federal agencies will have these exceptions. For example, what I was talking about with the accredited representatives, that is immigration law that allows the accredited
I don't even want to address federal law. I think federal law.
But that's Laurel's area of expertise.
Outside of the limitations of the Constitution, that it's a joke. The federal law is a monstrous joke on all of us, and so we can't even go there. But we can go to the state. And Laurel, I have a request for you.
Okay.
And that request is that, and I will do my own work to assist in this request. I want there to be a new RSA passed and be complete and fully opening up the possibility of additional regulatory agencies like the Bar Association that can compete with the bar.
So like competing professional organizations that membership in would be considered equal in terms of professional licensing by the state. Is that what you mean?
Right. And I actually would like it also to release individuals to be their own attorneys that have the somehow proof of claim, to...
Well, you can always
because
represent yourself.
I tell you what, there are many attorneys that I ask questions to. They don't have the answers. And they're just, they've passed the bar exam, I suppose, Maybe they had help. They maybe had to go through it 3 or 4 times.
All of us have our areas of expertise. So when somebody asks me a question that's outside of my area of expertise, if you ask me something about trusts and estates, I know a little bit about it. I took a class, but that's not my area of expertise.
Well, exactly. But so basically, we've got this agency, which is this monopoly on this regulatory activity. And I'm saying to you that is harming the state of New Hampshire and ought to end as soon as possible.
Well, in terms of monopoly, it's the competition between the states. So there's 50 state bars plus the District of Columbia. So the competition is not within the state, it's between the states.
Thank you for the call. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
At WolfHillAmmo.com, we love shotguns. We offer the best specialty shotgun ammo on the market, including our defensive combo packs for home and retreat. Our less lethal combo is good for animal control, the 4-legged kind and 2-legged. When lethal force is necessary, reach for our Stop 'em, Drop 'em, or our home defense combos. These 5-round packs include different heavy hitters to protect your loved ones. Visit WolfHillAmmo.com to see our great prices on these combo packs and other specialty shotgun ammo rounds. WolfHillAmmo.com. Hear that? That's the sound of a house being trashed while a gang of thieves ransack the place. And what they don't steal will be destroyed.
This year, resolve not to be the next victim of a break-in. Go to faketv.com and discover a device that creates the illusion someone inside is watching TV, even when you're miles away. Security is a mindset, and Fake TV should be part of your security solution. Be vigilant, but not fearful. faketv.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Don't worry about things you can't control. Isn't that what they always say? But it's about impossible to avoid worrying about what's going on these days. The government has used the war on guns, the war on drugs, and the war on terrorism to tear our Bill of Rights to shreds. But you can fight back. The 10th Amendment Center has proven it, racking up major victories. For example, when the U.S. government claimed authority in the NDAA to have the military kidnap and detain Americans without trial, the nullifiers got a law passed in California, declaring the state's refusal to ever participate in any such thing. Their latest project is offnow.org, nullifying the National Security Agency. They've already gotten model legislation introduced in California, Arizona, Oklahoma, Missouri, and Kansas, meant to limit the power of the NSA to spy on Americans in those states. We'd be fools to wait around for the U.S. Congress or courts to roll back Big Brother. Our best chance is nullification and interposition on the state level. Go to offnow.org, print out that model legislation, and get to work nullifying the NSA. The hero Edward Snowden has risked everything to give us this chance. Let's take it. Offnow.org.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Plus, we do have the Discord on-air call-in lines available over at discord.lrn.fm. And before we get back to the phones, I want to thank Izzy for being a silver amplifier. You can join the AMP program for as little as $5 per month, and you get perks like the ad-free podcast that we put up, where normal podcast has some ads put in. You want to wind up getting podcast that doesn't have those ads? You can do that as a member of the AMP program. There's also a Discord-only chat room. There's a Discord group, or not a Discord group, a Facebook group for amplifiers. There are probably some other perks that I can't think of. Oh, yeah. If you want, you can get your name mentioned. You're anonymous by default, so it's opt-in to wind up getting the public recognition, and Izzy did that. So thank you, Izzy, for being in the AMP program. You can learn more or join over at amp.freetalklive.com. Let's head back to the phones, where we've got Jack calling in from Virginia. Jack, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Hi. Yeah, everybody's talking about the open borders and all this.
Mm-hmm.
My main two concerns about the border situation is, one, obviously violent criminals getting in, terrorists, whatnot.
Uh-huh.
But my other concern is the eventual possible overpopulation of America.
Uh-huh.
I mean,
there was actually, they did a study, I'm sorry, I don't have an access to it right now, but they did a study on asking people in the world if you could immigrate to the United States, if there were open borders, would you? And the estimate for how many people actually would come was 100 million.
And we could totally accept that.
I disagree.
Oh, no, we're one of the least dense countries in the world.
It depends on how fast they come.
Right.
Yeah.
If they come in 2 weeks, we just don't have the infrastructure for that.
But they wouldn't come in 2 weeks because they wouldn't be able to find a place to live.
Yeah, it would take a year.
Yeah.
And we couldn't do it that fast.
No, the thing is do you not believe in the market?
100 million coming very quickly, that would it would be a disaster.
Like, they would wait until they could find jobs and homes.
No, they wouldn't.
Well,
go ahead, Jack.
Yeah, but all you need to look at is the movie Soylent Green, and I'm not talking about all the sci-fi aspects. They had a situation in that movie where you had people actually living in stairwells. You had multiple, like tens of millions of people living in big cities.
Hold on. So let me see if I understand this correctly. You want us to look at a movie about a dystopian future, but ignore the whole dystopia part, and somehow we're supposed to get a point about this dystopian future without looking at dystopia?
No. What I'm saying is, don't look at the sci-fi aspect of it. The Soylent Green is people BS. I'm talking.
But that's
I'm simply
the
talking
plot
about
of the movie.
Aspect.
That would be like saying, watch Star Trek, but don't pay attention to the spaceship.
No. I'm not saying don't pay attention to it. I'm just saying for this argument here, the overpopulation part.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason they do that is because they don't have enough food to feed the people. That was my whole point.
Right.
I'm not saying
I've not seen the movie. I've not seen the movie.
I haven't either.
But what sort of regulations were in place that caused people to not be able to grow food? What sort of regulations were in place to cause people to not be able to afford housing?
The government actually owned the farms at that point.
Okay, so
so dystopia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, so Malthus.
The government had taken over the farms, the farmlands, and you had to live in certain cities, the zones they were, and there wasn't enough actual physical space, and they also had a situation where you had the very rich and the very poor, and there was nobody in between.
Okay, but what does some far-fetched sci-fi movie have to do with making immigration policy? What's the connection?
No. The only aspect I was worried about is the fact that the Soylent Green was a representation that those particular scenes of where you couldn't hardly breathe on the street because they were so crowded, nobody could hardly drive.
Many other countries of the world are far more densely populated than the United States.
And have major problems because of it.
Or look at Japan. I mean, it depends on how you do it. It's not a function of population density. It's a function of all the other institutions as well. So if you have good institutions and a relatively free economy, you can have a lot of population density. Like Tokyo is, one of the most dense places on Earth, and it's really nice.
That's true.
Paris is one.
I've never been there, so I don't know.
Yeah, Paris is one of the most dense cities on Earth, and it's really nice.
Paris is having a lot of issues right now because of immigration.
Well, yeah, and Paris is having a lot of issues because of taxes, but people still
Paris has problems because of France.
Yeah, I mean,
Jack, thank you for
Manhattan
the call.
in New York City.
The problem with Paris is it's in France.
Yeah, I mean,
that's the problem with Boston. Boston is a beautiful city. The problem is it's in Massachusetts.
Yeah. So the United States, most of the United States is relatively not that dense, and so I don't think we could, nowhere can add, a quarter, increase from 300 million to 100 million, 400 million overnight without problems, but it wouldn't be overnight. People would come. I mean,
it would happen too fast.
No, how would they even get here? Like just the capacity of airplanes and trains and boats. So first, there's what is the actual supply of transportation to get here? What is the supply of housing? What is the supply of jobs? People respond to market forces. Prices would adjust. And the prices signal people to change their behavior.
No, they're going to come whether there's housing waiting for them or not. They're going to come and look for a job after they come. I think that's what we're seeing happen in Europe. People were coming. They didn't have a job lined up. They didn't have
they were literally
housing.
Fleeing dying.
A lot of them were economic migrants.
Yeah. But a lot of them were fleeing, literally dying.
Some of them were, but a lot of them were economic migrants, and they were not paying attention to whether they had a job waiting for them. They were not paying attention to whether there was going to be housing waiting for them.
But people do that within the United States as well.
That's true. You're right. We do have problems with people already in the United States, so maybe we need to take care of them.
No, I'm saying people already, they'll go, hey, I'm going to up and move to L.A. because I'm going to be an actress. Mm-hmm. And then it doesn't work out, and they go home.
Yep, and then there are people that
most of the time
move to New Hampshire that don't have jobs or housing lined up, and they make it work.
But there's not 100 million.
Some of them live in a bus.
And some of them live in a bus.
It's legally not a bus.
Yes.
Incidentally, if people want to watch more of my ideas on immigration, I do have a YouTube channel. It is called The Truth About Immigration. Just go to YouTube and put that in the search, and you'll find my videos.
Let's go to Doug calling in from Virginia. Doug, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Yes, sir. I just want to swing the thoughts about the economy more so than the immigration.
Yeah, go ahead.
Most of these immigrants are trying to better themselves, or illegal immigrants, and immigration was legal up until 1914, I think it was, and then they closed it off because the jobs were available, and then after that they kind of limited immigration. My thoughts on this.
Go ahead. I have a few thoughts, but you go ahead.
Oh, yeah, that's right. While I got you on the phone, I was going to ask you a question, too, but private property, you think your money is private property?
Are you asking me or Jackie?
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. You're the legal authority. I was going to say, You were talking about private property.
That was Jackie.
Yeah, Jackie was talking about private property. Sorry, that's sort of, I guess, the confusion of having the multiple women on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, anyway,
Jackie, is money? Hold on, Doug. I want her to answer the question. Is money private property?
What, the little pieces of paper?
Yeah.
The little tiny the little pieces of paper that I have. Yeah, that's my private property. What it actually represents, no.
And Doug, I know you've got more questions. We'll get to them in just a minute. Plus your calls and thoughts. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Your calls and thoughts, welcome, about whatever is on your mind. And since it's Festivus, feel free to air some grievances. This is Free Talk Live. We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
Pain in my neck, back, and shoulders has really gotten worse.
Relief for body pain is here with Sunny Bay heating pads.
Well, the last thing I want is to take another pill, so what's so good about Sunny Bay heating pads?
Sunny Bay heating pads, made by Biomed DB Design right here in the USA, come in all sizes. Our extra large microwavable heating pad for back pain is designed to be large enough to cover your entire back. It's also perfect to wrap around your legs, knees, or shoulder and neck.
But I need to know they're good quality.
Of course, Sunny Bay heating pads and pillows are often an Amazon choice, and it's easy and most affordable when you purchase your Sunny Bay heating pads right from our website, sunshinepillows.com, or call us 253-678-1361.
Hey, a Sunny Bay heating pad
would make a great gift, right?
Yes, and they start at just $19.99 and free shipping is available. So call 253-678-1361 or shop for your Sunny Bay heating pad at sunshinepillows.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. Physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project early movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless free market non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live, 855 450 free. That's how you can call in and join us. Maybe in these final moments, might be time for you and your thoughts and possible airing of grievances since it is Festivus. We'll get back to the phones here in just a second, but I want to make sure that I tell you what I'm going to be doing in mid-October of next year. Yes, I know it's a ways away, but I'll be running the Chicago Marathon as a member of the Ronald McDonald House Charities team, and I need to raise a minimum of $1,250. I'm hoping to raise $2,000. And you can donate. Anything helps, but $25 can provide dinner for a family staying at a Ronald McDonald Charity House. $80 can provide a room for a night. So again, help me reach that goal of $2,000 and help the Ronald McDonald House Charities. You can donate over at rmhc.fppradio.com. That's rmhc.fppradio.com. Let's go back to Doug calling in from Virginia. Doug, continue with your thoughts.
Yes, sir. Now getting back to the economy, what I see is when the Democrats control Congress is a Keynesian type economic. Basically, the government can take your money and redistribute it as they see needs. And then as the Republicans do it, it's more like in the free market sense, laissez-faire, that allows individuals to keep their money and prosper by reinvesting in the economy themselves.
Keynesianism isn't really about redistribution. It's more about counter-cyclical spending. So the idea is during a recession or depression, government should engage in deficit spending, and then when times are good, they should tax people to make up the amount. It doesn't actually say specifically who should be taxed. And it's not about,
what the Republicans do, it's not any kind of laissez-faire. Republicans do borrow and spend. Democrats do tax and spend.
And the thing is I'd like to point out that there's the actual theories and policies proposed by John Maynard Keynes. And then there's what people who call themselves Keynesians these days propose.
Right, like Paul Krugman.
Yeah. And
we need an alien space invasion to stimulate the economy.
There's a lot of sins being committed in Keynes's name that are not something that he would have ever recommended. Now, I still think he's wrong, but I do want to defend him as he was a great economist.
He was wrong. He's just not as wrong as people think he was.
Yeah, it's kind of like there's a lot of people out there calling themselves Christians doing horrible things that, Jesus Christ would have, whipped them for if, back in the day. So, yeah.
That's a bad comparison. But anyway, Keynesian, a perfect example is the Great Depression, where, if no intervention at all, the Great Depression wouldn't have been the Great Depression. It would, any recession only lasted 2 to 3 years, with the exception of that one. There's been eight recessions in the history of the United States recorded, and that was the only one that lasted, almost a decade and a half. And World War II did not get us out of the Great Depression. It's just basically the government intervention in the free market. My point is, I think the economy can tool along pretty well with some restrictions if it allowed. And if you look at the conglomerates, the big perfect example now is Chevrolet. We bailed out Chevrolet, and now they produced a bunch of products nobody wants to buy, and now they're in trouble again. So you can't produce things nobody wants to buy.
And part of the reason that they got in trouble in the first place is they were making products that people didn't want to buy, and then they said, we're such an asset to the American economy that Congress, have to give us a bunch of money. General Motors did the same thing. Daimler Chrysler did it back in the 80s.
I like one of the things you just said, though, is that the economy should basically be left alone, but maybe with some restrictions. And I'm with you there, because a pure libertarian would be like, no, none. But I think minimal, it needs to be as little as possible, because some people say, oh, well, if some is good, maybe more is better. No. You none is, I think, probably not going to be okay, but you do want it to be as little as possible.
Yeah, and I'd like to say that the Great Depression was more of a monetary issue, in which, due to a series of financial collapses, banking collapses, there was suddenly just not enough money circulating in the economy, and money's kind of the lubricant that makes all the gears turn.
Right.
And so there was all this productive capacity out there, but it wasn't able to get going because there was just not the money to help
there were the
circulate.
runs on the banks, and Doug, thank you for the call.
And so
there was the fractional reserve banking that really led to the crisis.
Yeah,
because people said, "I want to get my money out."
We don't have enough time to go into a whole monetary history of the Depression, but I'd like to say one thing I'm looking forward to seeing in the future is, as we see the rise of various competing cryptocurrencies competing with the U.S. dollar, when there isn't one form of money being used in the economy, will that make it more resilient to a Great Depression style financial collapse, in that, hey, if there's not enough U.S. dollars in circulation right now for whatever reason, we can all use Bitcoin to transact with each other instead. We still have a means of exchange. It doesn't have to rely on whether or not the Treasury or the Fed, what they're doing.
Right. And let's go to the Discord, and please don't make me regret this. We've got someone calling themselves Looking for Love calling in on Discord. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep. You're on. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Yeah, I was just calling in to offer my perspective on property rights.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, Jackie's views are preposterous.
This should be fun.
In a libertarian society, the way you would buy real estate everybody would be free to make the amount of money, to save up for money and buy it.
But buy it from whom? What makes the person selling you the land a legitimate owner? I could go and say, hey, I'll sell you that house over there, and it isn't necessarily my house.
How can you be a libertarian and not believe in property rights?
I do believe in property rights. I never said I didn't believe in property rights. I said that there is definitely some problems with the ownership of land. And I'm
as it
not,
currently exists.
Yeah, the current system we have for leadership. But I'm not coming for your toothbrush. I'm concerned with the way that land is currently titled to people. I don't think there's a legitimate moral basis for it, and this ties into why I'm a Georgist and think that a land value tax is a morally legitimate tax, but not a tax on labor, not a tax on sales tax, etc., because the government has nothing to do with
not
that.
a tax on improvements to the land.
Yeah, just on the land. Because right now, the reason that somebody has title to a particular piece of land is because we drew an arbitrary line at some point in history and said, okay, every transaction past this point is a legitimate transaction, and the government forcefully enforces that. So I think, okay, those are the people then who should pay for the government, the ones who are having these rather arbitrary ownership rights to a particular piece of land being enforced by the government. They should be the only ones paying taxes.
So are you one of there's a type of libertarian, I can't remember the name.
Georgist?
Maybe that's it. That doesn't believe in land property rights and that all the land actually belongs to the government, or should, and that's what should be.
That's more of a libertarian. So basically I start with a lot of the same premises that the libertarian socialists and communists start with, except private property rights over land work so much better than trying to have any kind of communal or you get the tragedy of the commons or communal land ownership or government land ownership. So we should keep our current system of private property ownership, but because you don't have a legitimate moral right to it in the same way you do to your labor or to a voluntary transaction you engage with another individual, then there is an actual moral right to tax the value of that land.
But only the land.
Only the land. Not what you built on it, but the land itself. The only reason you own that little patch of dirt is because the government said so.
So the land is basically the domain of the government, if that's what they're allowed to tax.
But people should still own it privately because that actually functions much, much better.
Well, if the land is the domain of the government, then doesn't the government have the right to keep foreigners from taking it? Because it belongs to the government. So it's the government's decision.
I didn't say it belongs to the government. I'm saying that's the only case in which the government can say, we're going to tax you because private ownership of the land is one thing that could not exist without a state. You would simply possess it. You wouldn't actually own it.
So the state quasi-owns it.
No, I don't say they quasi-own it. I say that the only reason that a right to land ownership exists is because the state exists. So I'm saying that it exists because the state exists, not that the state owns it, but the only reason that you have a right that is enforced is because of the government. So you should pay for that right.
And Looking for Love, thank you for the call. We're out of time for tonight. We didn't get to tell you why parachutes don't actually save lives when you jump out of airplanes.
Do that one tomorrow.
Maybe. And really interesting story. I'll share it on the socials. We'll be back tomorrow on Christmas Eve. We're also here on Christmas, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. And we are always online at freetalklive.com.
If you're looking for work, or even if you're not, here's an innocent mistake you really want to avoid. Never return calls before listening to your voicemail. Your wireless phone sends calls you didn't answer into voicemail, and it shows you phone numbers for calls you missed. Important, don't call back callers you missed until you have first listened to your messages. Otherwise, you frustrate people who bothered to leave messages.